704 started, 352 remain. After 1 week of the Texas high school football playoffs, the field is cut in half. For Highland Park, their goal of a fourth consecutive state championship remains, and they're back in the building that they raised a trophy the last 3 years. It's the Highland Park Scots and the Magnolia Bulldogs, presented by Game On Sports.
It's intercepted! They are going to complete the three-peat.
That trophy is not leaving. It is staying at Highlander Stadium for the third consecutive year.
Hello, everyone. Welcome here to AT&T Stadium, an absolute cathedral of football. I'm Miles Dunklin, flanked here in the booth by the coach, David Clark. And Coach Clark, your first time with us here in the booth at AT&T Stadium. And boy, this venue never disappoints.
No, it really doesn't, Miles. And I was just chuckling because, you know, first championship won, I was in the press box over there with coaching, and we're a section lower than this, it seems like. And then last two on the sideline. So I had a real close-up view of it. And up here we got a great look at it. And, man, this is exciting. This kind of gives you goosebumps. You remember just what seems like just yesterday when they were in a dogfight there, winning that third consecutive state championship. But, boy, this is exciting. And you mentioned that half the field went home last week, and they're playing basketball. So, you know, the Scots and the Magnolia Bulldogs are ready to play.
As we're about ready for the national anthem here at AT&T Stadium. Ready for some football here at AT&T Stadium. And Coach Clark, big win last week for Highland Park, 33-10, a methodical, really dominant victory over Frisco Wakeland. They got out of the gate slow, but from the second quarter on, completely dominated.
Well, to be honest, Miles, they were a little flat. I mean, they'd played two really tough football games to end the regular season, and they were a little flat. It's hard to say that for a playoff game one when half the teams go home, but they were a little flat, and I think they really were methodical. That's a great word for it. You know, they started to grind away. Hunter Heath did his thing as he'd done the last couple of weeks. Chandler did his thing. So the Scots were very methodical. Defense played fantastic, as they have for the last 3 games. They have really stepped up against some quality opponents and into that first week of the playoffs.
Coach David Clark, we're here in the area round of the playoffs, so round 2 here within Region 2 as Highland Park trying to move on, and they would play the winner of College Station and Frisco Lone Star, so a potential rematch waiting in round 2. They got to handle their business here tonight. What would you see as some keys to victory for Highland Park in this one over the Magnolia Cougars?
Well,
Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs are going to want to run the football, run. The Scots have got to come up with some 3 and outs. They're going to try to do what Wakeland did, try to keep the Scott offense on the sidelines, make first downs, shorten the game, and the Scott defense has really got to stop the run. And that's going to be the key. It's how they're going to do against the running game of the Bulldogs.
Will Pettyjohn fields this kick at his own 10-yard line, working up the middle, takes a big lick there at the 23-yard line as the kickoff was made there by Aiden Garrigan, a senior wide receiver for Magnolia. And it will be the Scots starting with the football first. You look at Chandler Morris, the senior captain. What a player Chandler is. 182 out of 256 on the year. That's 71%. Over 3,000 yards. 35 touchdowns passing, 15 rushing touchdowns. So he eclipsed 50 touchdowns for the second consecutive season. This his senior year.
And there are a lot of second halves he never played. So keep that in mind, too, when you look at those numbers.
He's flanked by two running backs, Hunter Heath and Will Anderson. It's a quarterback keeper all the way here for Chandler Morris. And a very short gain. The initial stop there made by Jarrett Pleasant. And Pleasant is a really good player. Plays that rover role for this Magnolia team. As the Scots, when they go fast, they go right into that 5 wide look. Magnolia brings the pressure. Over the middle, has an open man. There's Case Savage into the secondary. He's loose. Savage at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, 78 yards.
That's that package plays we've seen Coach Allen use so many times to start games. You kind of go from your regular set to a 5 wide set, no personnel changes, and you end up with somebody running wild and free. We saw Finn Corwin do that all last playoff run, and now Case Savage gets his chance to do it.
Well, Coach, they were man-to-man on the back end as Magnolia brought the house, and Chandler Morris able to make the quick decision. Find Case Savage, who's been a big play receiver this year for Highland Park. That's touchdown number 10 for Case there out of the slot. That leads the team. And the extra point from Wesley Winters is true. The Scots lead it 7-0 after just 37 seconds here at AT&T.
Yeah, what a great start. And that is, I was about to say, if we had gotten one more play in, that the Scots, they're going to shorten the number of possessions they're going to have tonight because Magnolia is going to try to run the football. Look at that Case right on stride, and he's able to catch it. And he's not going to get caught. And again, showing a little bit of speed there as he outruns the secondary for a quick strike score for the Scots to get them rocking and rolling here in the first minute of play. So great start for the Scots, and that's what you need to do. We're going to have to score quick and then hope your defense gets some stops and see how this game goes.
Well, he was matched up right there with Hunter Kitchens, who's a guy that a good player for them, a senior captain, leads the team in interceptions, but could not catch Case Savage there in the open field. Look at Savage. He came into this game averaging 20 yards of reception on the season. The Scots have been a big play offense this year. Chandler Morris, this is a remarkable stat, is averaging 12.2 yards per attempt on the season. Not per completion, but per attempt.
That's incredible.
Every time they go to the air, they pick up a first down on average.
Yeah, that's very impressive. And the Scots really, that's tailor-made to what they want to get off to a good start right there.
Wesley Winters kicking off. It'll be fielded by the man that was burned by Case Savage right there, Hunter Kitchens, and he'll tiptoe out of bounds there at about the 30-yard line. For the first time, we will see the offense for the Magnolia Bulldogs as they hail from District 8, which has been a really good district. College Station, Magnolia, Magnolia West, Tombaugh, and of course Lufkin has been the best team in that district for a while. They are led by their running back. It's number 5, Mitch Hall. He just needs 42 yards to go over 2,000 on the season. Rolling left, it's the quarterback Travis Moore in some trouble trying to make a man miss, and he'll end up picking up a handful there on what was kind of a broken play to the left side.
Yeah, it looked like a quarterback run all the way as Hall was out front trying to lay a block. So everybody was blocking up front. So, again, it's real important. Big, strong, talented offensive line for the Bulldogs. Scott's really got to control that the best they can.
One of the best offensive lines really probably in the country. They've got 3 Division I offensive linemen in that group, and they are all really good. 2nd down and 6 to go. We'll go ahead and set the Scott defense after this play. And they hand it for the first time tonight to Mitch Hall, and not much doing off the left end. Let's go ahead and set that Scott D on the defensive line. Prince Dorba, Andrew Washburn, Houston Hummel. We'll also see Jack Curtis and Isaiah Pettick. You look at Andrew Bonnet and John Beachel doing a great job of that outside linebacker position, with Patrick Turner and Cal Hershey at the Mike and Will on the inside. And then Tanner Schrank and Ford Frazier really locking down those corner spots, the position you used to coach, Coach Clark.
Yeah,
and then Walker Cobb and Maxwell Warren at safety.
Yeah, there's a lot of rotation early in the year, but those two guys have done a lot.
5 wide. It's a high pass. It will be hauled in at the 50-yard line. That's the tight end. We talked about the offensive line, but Ben Colligan is a good-looking player as well. That's his 22nd catch of the season from that inline tight end spot, and that will move the chains for the Bulldogs.
That was a straight, drop-back pass, and you don't see the Bulldogs do that very often. A lot of play action based off their great running game.
And they hand it off once again. Speaking of that running game, Coach Clark, Highland Park's been able to stop the run effectively here in this 2019 season. You look at last week, Frisco Wakeland wanted to run the football, but they ended up with 32 carries for only 35 yards.
Yeah, great job. I thought the defense played fantastic last week, and they also did great against a running team like Timberview. So they've really been tough up front, and that front seven, we knew going into the year that they were going to be tough to move, and they've been that. And of course, running the edge, and you notice these plays have all gone inside the tackles to start the game, and that's going to be at least where they think they can make some hay.
You look at Highland Park allowing just 87 yards a game on the ground. Another key third down, and that's going to be the money down tonight for this Highland Park defense, and they've been really good, just 23% allowed on the season. They're going to hand it off once again. Nope, play action. Throwing to that tight end right there at the 40-yard line. Very close to the marker, but I think pushing the pile here, that should move the chains to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, nice little spot up there by Culligan again, and he was able to catch another high pass. Good hands right there 2 times in a row. And you're right, Miles. 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5 on both of those plays, and the Bulldogs were able to convert. Want to try to get them in a 3rd and long situation, force them to do something they normally don't want to do, and that's throw a deeper ball.
1st and 10, they stick with the 11 personnel. Running it here is the quarterback, Travis Moore, who is a much smaller quarterback than we're used to seeing. Chased down on the backside right there. Good job by the Scots pursuing. Let's go ahead and set that offense for the Magnolia Bulldogs. Derek Bowman, he's a really good one at left tackle. Daniel Hinojosa, Tristan Simpson, Cade Bond, another really good player at right guard, and then Matthew Wyckoff, who they think maybe could be one of the best offensive linemen in the country, class of 2021. That's the offensive line here on 2nd and 9 as they go with the hard count. Quarterback is Travis Moore. Mitch Hall is the bell cow running back. He carried it 33 times last week, and he came into the game with 243 carries on the year. Set the receivers after this. They go with the zone read, and it's Travis Moore with some room to run to the outside. And inside the 25-yard line, he's got a 1st down and more. The receivers, Ben Renfro. Now he's committed to Utah. Really good player on the outside. Gavin Mason, Heston Kelly, Aiden Kerrigan, and the tight end is Ben Colligan. They want to go fast here. Trips to the left. 1 receiver to the right. 10 personnel here. Straight drop as the Scots bring the pressure. They want to go deep into the end zone. Looking for the Utah commit. And he got it. Touchdown Bulldogs.
Well,
that's Ben Renfro.
That's a great answer. And again, they caught the Scots a little bit off stride there, but they were at a 1st and 10. They're usually a run team on 1st down, and boy, they went for all the marbles right there. And nice catch, nice play, beautiful ball to the outside shoulder. Defender was in great position there, but unable to make a play, and the Bulldogs come right back and answer.
Ernie Mendoza is on for the extra point. And did he get it? Yes, he did. It just snuck through the right side. That was a good drive right there by the Bulldogs. 67 yards they went in 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and it took them 8 plays. Of course, the key play was the touchdown pass from Travis Moore to Ben Renfro, the Utah commit. 2nd week in a row the Scots have seen a player headed to Utah, and we're all knotted up at 7, just 5 minutes into this one.
You know, that shows a lot of character, Miles. Bulldogs answering the Scots big play offense with really a nice drive, and to be finished with a big play of their own there at the end. And a real nice run off of that little Pluto look there, and the quarterback did a great job of faking the ball. Everybody's got to be looking for Mitch Hall to get the ball on a lot of situations. See how that ball was thrown to the outside. That's a great catch.
And the Scots brought the pressure on that play. You saw Andrew Bonnet and Cal Hershey coming. Pretty good coverage right there by Tanner Schrank, who's really established himself on the right side of that Scots defense as the man. It's going to be Mendoza kicking it off here. And once again, working it over toward Will Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn's got some room, and he can run across the 30-yard line to the 35, and that's where Chandler Morris will set up shop. I'm Miles Duncan up here in the booth with David Clark. Pretty soon here, we're going to get to Will Washington down on the sideline, our Game On Sports production team, bringing you the sights and sounds here from Jerry's World at AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And boy, it's been good to Highland Park, Coach.
Boy,
Clark.
it really has.
The Scots have won 19 consecutive playoff games.
Oh,
19 straight consecutive playoff games, and 16 of them have been indoors.
That's incredible. That's nice. I hope Jerry doesn't run out of any grandchildren here anytime soon. So.
Well, they might be at the end of the line there with Paxton Anderson, who's doing a great job blocking on the outside for Hunter Heath. And what a revelation Hunter Heath has been for Highland Park on the season. I'm not misquoting this, I promise. He averages 13.4 yards per carry.
That's pretty incredible. Little guy, I mean, he left the game last week early, and he was able to come back, just kind of banged up a little bit, as it turns out. Talking to the trainers after the game, they said he could have gone back in, but the game was pretty much under control, so didn't worry about it.
Scott stick with the two-back set, and that ball is overthrown, looking for Drew Scott. Drew had a huge game last week, 5 for 126 and a score against Frisco Wakeland. Let's set that Scott offense full of juniors on that offensive line. Just one senior. It's the right guard, Jack Rourke. The rest of the guys, Henry Hagenbuck at right tackle. The center is Will Gibson. The left guard is Sam Morris, and the left tackle is Jack Lehrer. One of the biggest group the Scots have ever had on the offensive line.
And we found out their backups are just as big, so not going to lose much if they have to go to the bench on that.
Ben Smith in motion. There's Hunter Heath, who I think is an underrated player between the tackles. We obviously know that Hunter can get it done when he gets in the open field, a 4x100 track star. And Hunter, one of the fastest guys in the area, whether he's got football pads on or not. As you see that offensive line doing work. Nice jump cut there by Hunter. The receivers for Highland Park, you already met Case Savage, so did Magnolia. He went 78 yards on a reception on the first drive. Drew Scott, Ben Smith, and Paxton Anderson, who recently picked up a scholarship offer from Arkansas. 2x2 set once again here for the Scots. They got a fresh set of downs. It's Morris on the option. Pitch it there to Hunter Heath. He's got some room, accelerating into the secondary, and lucky right there to cut him down. It looked like Hunter Heath might have a crease to take it to the house. And how about the last 3 games for Hunter Heath? All he's done, 42 carries for 532 yards on the ground and 7 total touchdowns.
That's a season for most running backs. And again, I tell you what, you talk about confidence. Coach Allen gave you the ball on 3rd and 8. I mean, that's confidence in your offensive line and your running back right there.
Quick throw right side. There's Ben Smith. And boy, Smith might scare you just as much as Hunter Heath does with the ball in his hand. He's a big play receiver as well. 7 touchdowns, 775 yards, and 47 receptions. He leads the team in yards and grabs on the year, and 16.5 per on the season for Ben.
Yeah, really had a good game last week in the playoff game against Wakeland. He kind of came alive. He'd been kind of quiet for the last couple of weeks as the Scots running game had really kind of taken over the offense.
Scots go with the 3x1 set here. 3 receivers to the left side. And there's early movement on the bottom of your screen there. It was number 18 that kind of flinched, Will Alexander, and then Lehrer jumped. So our white hat lets us know it's 5 yards. Mark it off against the Scots. Last week, 6 penalties for 50 yards for Highland Park. And they've been probably good but not great this year in the penalty department.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to put it. When you're 6'8" and 280 and you move a little bit, somebody's going to notice.
That's right.
So he's not going to get away with that one.
Hard to sneak around if you're Jack Lehrer and you're 6'8", pushing 3 bills. 4 down alignment here as they pitch it. Hunter Heath once again trying to get to the corner, and he'll scamper out of bounds there at the 25, right at the marker. It'll be 3rd down and very short. Let's set the rest of that defense for Magnolia. Anthony Martinez, Carlos Ortiz, Cedric Harris, and Adam Finn across the defensive line. Rylan Rich, Will Spicer are the linebackers. Jarrett Pleasant and Nathan Hawks kind of play that hybrid role. And then Corbin Shields, Hunter Kitchens, and Grady Harper are in the secondary. Scots go with the heavy package here, a 2-back set. They hand it to Will Anderson, and he got stuffed right there at the 25-yard line. It's going to depend on the spot, but it's awfully close to the 1st down. I think even if they don't get it, it's probably 4-down territory here.
Yeah, they had that quick snap, quick muddle huddle, and again, the Bulldogs were ready for it and kind of stuffed it. So they don't need much, so I'm sure they're going to line up and try it again and maybe let Chandler do it.
Scots have Kyle Garberding out there, number 92. It's Chandler keeping it all the way. He will plunge across the 25-yard line and move the chains there for the Scots. Will Anderson has checked in there, as well as Doak Walker, great-grandson of one of the greatest running backs to ever play the sport, number 22. Lead block in that time, as well as Will Anderson. Had a touchdown last week.
Yeah, they got out of their heavy package, went with a 2-back look, and Chandler with a quarterback sneak was able to just ride that big offensive line, push, and pick up the 1st down.
Boy, basically, you got Division I offensive line out there for both sides.
Oh, you really do. It's a nice matchup and a real advantage for these offenses.
Scots have 3 players over 250 pounds on the offensive line. The other 2 guys are at 230. But especially you look at Gibson and Lehrer. They're both there at over 6'4", 280. I mean, it's rare. Maybe go back to that 2005 team with Eric Olson, who went to Texas Tech. Reed Prince went to Baylor. Cole went to Navy. What a great team that was. They had my buddy Kelly Turner, who was a 300-pounder, on the bench as a junior who went on to play at SMU. But rare do teams have this good an offensive line on both sides. A real treat to see.
Yeah, and with this group for the Scots, as you mentioned at the start of the game, they're young. They've got a lot of growing to do and maturing and working together as a real unit. So that's going to be interesting to watch them grow for next year, especially as they play together another season.
And they got eyeballs on him tonight with a lot of scouts in the building as Morris over the middle there is Ben Smith tiptoeing to about the 12-yard line. Move the chains for Highland Park as they have had very little resistance so far offensively. Did have that 1 4th down and very short, but so far things are looking good for Randy Allen, Grayson Wells, Tristan Weber, and company.
Really look like they've been able to run just about anything they want. Again, these inside receivers are going to be the mismatch, I think, on the safeties because it's hard to double those inside guys, and your OBs have to be thinking about Hunter Heath.
Scots go with the option again. It's Morris going to keep it, and he will take a loss. Had to hop over a defensive lineman. One player to watch here for Magnolia, number 30, Jarrett Pleasant, and he's a really good player. 42 solo tackles on the season, 3 interceptions, a bunch of sacks, and Pleasant is a guy that can do a little bit of everything, Coach Clark. The guys had a practice player on the scout team all week wearing a special jersey simulating number 30. They want to find him on every snap.
Yeah, they really do. And I watched, I think he kind of underestimated the speed of Hunter Heath a couple of times, and his angle wasn't very good. So you got to be ready for that switch and game time speed, though.
Morris wants to run, and he'll be wrestled down over there on the perimeter. That was number 39, Will Spicer. And this will bring up a 3rd down and long. So curse of the broadcaster, I mentioned very little resistance and then no gain on consecutive downs.
Yeah, that's a good defensive play right there. Chandler trying to run the quarterback power to the weak side. You mentioned receivers to the right. He's running to the left side. So Coach Allen has to dial one up right here. It's 3rd and 10, and he has to come up with something.
Big spot here for Highland Park. They can get a 1st down without scoring at the 3-yard line. Morris has 3 receivers to his right. Rolling that way, throwing back left side. There's Hunter Heath, needs a block, and he will be tracked down. What a play that was by number 39, once again, Will Spicer, as it looked like Hunter Heath was destined for another touchdown. And what a great year it's been for Heath. That would have been touchdown number 16. And now it's decision time for the great Randy Allen.
Yeah, Spicer saved a touchdown right there, no doubt about it, because he's got an escort to the end zone if he just slips that one tackle. So great job there. Scott's going to try to get the field goal, go with the field goal here to take the lead.
It will be a 25-yard attempt out of the deep snap of Nick Johnson. The holder is Ben Smith, and it's Wesley Winters here from the far left hash. Plenty of leg, and did he miss it left? Yes, he did. Wide to the left as Wesley Winters misses the three-point try, and we're knotted at 7 here with just 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
Well, that hurts, Miles. That's Scots themselves had the ball for 7 minutes and going to come away empty on that, and that's something you don't want to have happen here tonight. You got to get something every time you got the ball, because your possessions are going to be limited with a ball control team like the Bulldogs running the ball so much.
So it's Magnolia High with the football here at the 20. And they hand it, as they will, a lot to number 5. That's Mitch Hall, and he's going nowhere. That's Prince Dorba, number 32 in blue and gold. And Dorba, Coach Clark, has a chance to go down as the winningest player in the history of Highland Park football. Pretty impressive resume already for Prince with a handful of rings, and he's looking for number 3 this year.
Yeah, he has been awesome all 3 years that he's been on the varsity, and just having another great season, lighting it up from that defensive end spot.
Straight drop, throw it right side. It's nearly intercepted over there by number 23. That was Andrew Bonnet dropping there into the flat. I'm not sure if Travis Moore didn't see him or what, but it was Bonnet who signed with Colgate this week to play lacrosse, so congratulations to Andrew, as that will be the final play here of the first quarter. An evenly played opening period. We are tied at 7. We'll go ahead and take a quick break as you're watching Highland Park football presented by Game On Sports.
When I think Lexus, I automatically think Sewell.
When I look at a license plate that says just Lexus, I'm like, oh, that's good for you. When I see a Sewell on it, I'm like, you know what I know.
I show up and I have my crew with me. They acknowledge me and they acknowledge my children, maybe give them a high five.
You get more than you expect. You get the wow factor at Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and L-certified Lexus vehicles at Sewell Lexus.
The customer.
Here to AT&T Stadium, one of the ultimate venues in the history of sports, and that's not hyperbolic. I mean, this place is incredible, and we got a big play here on third down. Travis Moore rolling, throwing, has a receiver. It's caught. Move the chains for Magnolia. They've been good so far on third downs, and there's that man again, Ben Renfro, who is committed to Utah, came into the game with 49 catches for 817 yards and 13 touchdowns. And look at him go up and high point that football. That was not necessarily well thrown, but Ben Renfro able to move the chains.
Boy, that is a great catch, and that is just what the Bulldogs needed to keep this drive alive. And again, a high throw. It's about the third high throw we've seen out of Moore, and his receivers have come down with it.
Moore throwing right side, wide open man over there, immediately tracked down by Andrew Bonnet, number 23. And that was number 11 on the grab there, Gavin Mason, his 14th catch of the year from the slot. Tanner Schrank in on that play as well.
A little bit of confusion out there, Miles, on
I think they got too many guys.
Yeah, it looks like
on the
they
field.
do.
You can't have 4 wide receivers and a tight end and a running back.
That would be a problem.
I know that for sure. As they hand it off once again, Mitch Hall has nowhere to go, and there is Jack Curtis. What a bright future for that young man, and the future is now. I mean, Jack Curtis is already playing like a superstar.
Yeah, he really has, and you know what? It's going to be a shame that whenever this season ends, maybe it'll be week 16, because he keeps getting better every game, and it's fun to watch him mature as a player.
Well, he's going to go from here to track and then on to baseball and a Letterman already
he's
as a sophomore.
Be a busy man.
Third down once again. Now stepping up here is Moore. Lobbing it left side. It's caught at the 40-yard line into Highland Park territory. That's Gavin Mason, his second catch of the drive. And is there a flag down here? The Magnolia folks are still standing at midfield like they expect this one to come back.
Yeah, that maybe somebody got downfield, but we'll see. That was a really nice play by the quarterback Travis Moore, who.
And it's a hold called against Tanner Schrank there, the junior standout corner for Highland Park.
Watch him find a little opening. He looks like he's going to run. Everybody trying to stay stuck a little bit. And really a nice throw. And he's made some nice throws. His receivers have really showed an ability to catch the ball, too. So that's been very impressive.
Well, I thought as I previewed this game that they would need to win those one-on-one matchups on the perimeter. I know that Mitch Hall is a really good running back, and this is a team that runs the ball 67% of the time on the year. I mean, the young man came in with 250 carries on the season, so it's no mystery about what they want to do, Coach, but Highland Park can take away your best option, and this is going to be a game where Travis Moore, this junior quarterback, is going to have to play lights out.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to. You're right about that, and the Scots will gear their defensive game plan to take away the running game as best they can.
Moore has time, throws a dart over the middle to an open receiver, and that's his tailback, Mitch Hall.
He looks great right now, very poised. He's been a little high with a few throws, which is usually like that adrenaline pumping through you, get a little more energy. But that was a nice throw, a little pitch and catch there, and nice little gain here, give them a manageable third down.
And third down has been the money down so far tonight. It's going to be Moore on the keeper. He's got lots of running room in the middle. Moore at the 10 and finally knocked down. It's going to be a goal-to-go scenario for Magnolia. And, Coach, it was a big haymaker landed by Highland Park. The second play of the game was a 78-yard touchdown to Case Savage. Since then, it's been Magnolia's game.
It really has, and doing exactly what they want to control the clock, control the ball, and make some first downs, and that's exactly what they've been doing. That was an enormous hole, Miles. That thing just opened up. Again, that little Pluto play where you're fake and stretch, and the quarterback's going to keep it, and it looks like the Bulldogs going to have to spend a timeout here.
And that is their first timeout spent in this first half. Coach Clark, Cale Melton down there wearing the familiar yellow shirt for Highland Park. And I'm sure Cale, we know him. He's a perfectionist. He always wants his guys to play to their level. Well, so far they've given up 7 first downs, 140 yards. Travis Moore is 7 of 9 for 88 yards, and they've run it effectively as well. Now, not so much with Mitch Hall, but with Travis Moore out of the backfield. What do you think that Cale Melton is saying right now to his troops?
Well, I would think that he's saying we got to make sure we got somebody on the quarterback for sure, which, believe me, was definitely part of the defensive game plan. But again, Miles, the key that was if this thing's going to go 48 minutes, then the key will be let's stop Mitch Hall. Let's stop him for 4 quarters. And if Travis Moore is going to have a big game, then we'll adjust from there. But I think they've done what they said with Hall. They've stopped Hall. Now they need to adjust to Travis Moore and be able to make him a one-dimensional player.
Well, so far, Mitch Hall, 5 carries for 8 yards, but 44 yards for Moore as he wants to throw it to his tight end. He's open at the goal line. Touchdown, Bulldogs. There's Ben Colligan, his 10th touchdown of the year, and Magnolia takes the lead.
Well, you got to love that play-action pass on first down by a running team. You know, you kind of expect them to pound the ball in there a little bit, maybe see a little more Mitch Hall. But no, a little play-action pass. Again, the Scots are really keying on Hall, and once he puts that ball in his belly, the Scots react and get a one-on-one situation and a touchdown.
Another good drive right there by Magnolia. 10 plays, 80 yards. And they go 3 minutes and 54 seconds for the score. But Coach Clark, 10 plays, 80 yards. That's going to make any offensive coach happy. And you look at the head football coach, Greg Martin. He was the offensive coordinator that but lost to Highland Park back in 2016 that helped start this magical run for the Scotties. And you were on the other side helping coordinate the Scots to really dominating his offense in that game. And the final score of that one between Highland Park and Temple was 16-7. Of course, we all remember the Turner Cox sack in the end zone. He's now starring at SMU. And by the way, Craig Martin had not forgotten that play either. When I talked to him this week, he brought up Turner Cox and that great Scott defense and Matt Gamm, some of those really good players. But right now, he is getting his revenge here at AT&T.
He is calling a great game, Miles. I think, again, he's got enough of the running game with Hall that he can play action a little bit. And what can you say about the junior Travis Moore? He has been fantastic here in the first quarter and a half.
It's Will Pettyjohn once again making a man miss as he collected that ball at the 20-yard line. Clearly their strategy, keep it away from Case Savage and Ben Smith. I can't blame them for that. And all three kicks have gone toward the junior Will Pettyjohn.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea when you think about it, because those guys are so dangerous with the ball in open space. So, Miles, I know it's early, but this is a big series for the Scots. You know, you could kind of feel a little bit of that letdown when that field goal was missed, and emotionally let down. And they really need to come back and do something here with this drive.
They're going to re-kick this one. Not sure exactly what the adjudication was there, but our white hat says we're redoing it. Highland Park's probably okay with that. I think historically, when you have to re-kick, that's where some of these big plays can happen.
Yeah, you'd run down there again. You know, it's like running sprints. So they'll get a little short kick, though, I think. And I don't know why you would change your strategy, but, man, that's a big penalty. No, just a 5-yarder. Okay. This is, again, a big drive, I think, for the Scots, and be helped with a nice little return. But you realize now that Magnolia is going to be tough to handle with their game and their play-action passing game. They're going to be tough to slow down and stop. So a lot of pressure shifts back to the Scotty offense here.
Another deep kick, and once again it's to Will Pettyjohn from his own 20. Pettyjohn upended there at the 35-yard line, so HP picks up about a chain's length worth of field position on the exchange. And there's an injured Bulldog here on the near side.
That's their kicker.
That was number 35 that made the hit. Really, he took on the double team and still made the play. Luke Herring.
Holding his
nice
shoulder.
Job by 35, but he paid the price. All right, Luke Cameron's in the game, number 90. You saw him there on your screen, right in front of Hunter Heath. And it's play action for Highland Park. Morris has a man over the middle. He's got him. That's Drew Scott. And Drew Scott has a Highland Park first down deep into Magnolia territory.
Yeah, that vertical passing game we've seen so successfully, really since Drew Scott came back, has really made that a real weapon again. And drew a little post route from the outside. And again, Chandler with a perfect throw. Big play for the Scots.
So Highland Park has taken a couple body blows here with consecutive scores by Magnolia. Trying to get back on the board here. They hand it to Hunter Heath, keeping his balance around the left side. There goes the track star, lowering his shoulder. He's got another Highland Park first down. And when I talked to the Scott coaches this week, they said the game plan is going to be feed number 38. And when the young man averages 14 yards a carry on the season, I think that's a pretty good plan.
Yeah, and he breaks tackles too. He just does a great job running the ball, and he makes a difference in the Scott offense. There is no doubt about it. We've seen what happens. Puts a lot of pressure on Chandler when he's not in the lineup.
Luke Cameron is still deployed to the right of Morris. They go with the hard count. Hand it once again to Hunter Heath. Up the middle. There goes Hunter, dragging a tackler, and he will score a Scott touchdown. Big time answer by the Scots as they will have a chance to tie this thing up at 14.
Boy, that's great. I mean, that's what, 3 plays, and the Scots go the distance there. Super job.
A quick scoring drive right there by the Scots, and they use a couple of those offensive weapons they did not have early in the year. If you're a Frisco Lone Star coach and you're watching this one, you're saying, wait, who's 38 and who's 7? Because those guys are good.
Yeah, where were they? Yeah, that's exactly right.
Extra point is true from Wesley Winters, and it's knotted up at 14.
Yeah, that, like you mentioned, Miles, that's a great answer by the Scots. Again, a little air came out when that field goal was missed, but then what a quick recovery, and hitting Drew Scott over the middle was a big play to start the series, and then Hunter Heath does it the rest of the way.
Well, Highland Park doesn't get down a whole lot, but they've been in this position even in this playoff run. That last week, it was not a good first quarter for the Scott offense, 7-0 after the opening period, but over the course of a long game, that Highland Park offense is just going to keep chopping wood. And you see a great block right there from 75, and that is the junior, or rather the sophomore call-up, Grant Gibson, in there at right tackle, helping to lead the way.
Yeah, good job, too, by 55 Sam Morris, too, on the run previously to the touchdown. So that's great. Offensive line just said, let's run the ball. Let's go get him. And the Scots really answered in a big way.
So Gibson was not penciled in to be a starter tonight, so we'll have to see who he replaced in the lineup. Might be in there at right tackle, as Wesley Winters has a short approach here. Scots have been favoring that pooch kick. It's Juan Thrasher coordinates the kickoff team for Highland Park, and it's fielded at the 20-yard line. And that is number 20, Kitchens, lumbering to about the 35-yard line, but there's a flag down on the Highland Park side of the field.
Yeah, again, big series here for the Scott defense. They've been kind of pushed around the last couple of series, and they need to step up and get a stop.
Block in the back, number 9 on the return team. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Magnolia.
Well, I'll move them back a little bit.
And that's a big play right there, as this is an offense, Coach Clark, that as efficient as they've been, not really a big play style team. And so any penalty like that really matters. You get a good look there at Marshall Landwehr, Scott's junior middle linebacker.
Yeah, they went 80 yards with their last drive, so I mean, they can do it, but you just make it very difficult on yourself when you commit a penalty like that in the kicking game.
Tight end in line on the right side. They go play action, throw it left side. That's number 11, the slippery Gavin Mason. And the whistle blew. They said forward progress. Mason is not happy. And it's a modest first down pickup of about 5.
Scott's playing very soft coverage there in the secondary, and they're able to make a play and I guess hold him down. That's I can understand why they'd be a little upset. Walker Cobb was there, kind of spun him around, but certainly didn't look like his momentum had stopped.
Throwing left side, it's tipped up in the air and incomplete. Here comes another third down. I'd love to know the third down percentages so far in this game, because it's not like Highland Park hasn't been able to stop Magnolia on first and second, but somehow Travis Moore has been able to pull a rabbit out of the hat on third downs tonight.
Yeah, that time one of those little bit errant throws kind of hurt him right there, as he throws a little bit behind Renfro that time and wasn't able to come up with it.
Big 3rd and 5. Moore dropping back over the middle. It's tipped and incomplete. Marshall Landwehr able to get a mid on it. And for the first time tonight, looks like the Scots are going to get off the field here.
Yeah, that's a big stop again, right after your offense handles a big answer with a nice touchdown drive of their own. The Bulldogs are unable to convert on 3rd and 5, and just a little bit short arm that one for Kelly, number 16 for the Bulldogs.
Now the punter is Ben Renfro. We've already documented his athletic ability. He had a touchdown in this one, and he's committed to play for Utah. And this is a team in Magnolia that loves the trick play. As they roll right, and here it comes. Will he get to the sticks? Yes, he will.
I think he did.
Ben Renfro able to pick up the first down. I called it right there, Coach Clark. They love the trick plays. And even right there on their own 20-yard line, head coach Greg Martin willing to roll the dice and go for it. And his outstanding wideout able to pick up a first down.
Yeah, and it's not like the Scots were totally fooled on that.
Nope.
They just didn't make the play and needed to come up with a tackle there. And they look prepared for it. I'll tell you what, that's a real respect for the Scott offense right there, that they're going to push the envelope there on their own 30-yard line.
Respect for the Scott offense, yes, but also just a mentality by Greg Martin, as once again the inside handoff to Mitch Hall is stopped quickly. But this is a team that likes the trick play. They used 5 trick plays against Magnolia West alone. Now, most teams won't go the entire season without using 5 trick plays. But Craig Martin has a lot of different things in his back pocket, and the Scots assume that it's all going to be emptied out tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be nothing left. And Coach Allen's got a few up his sleeve, too.
Man in motion. They want to hand it off on those jet sweep action plays, and once again Mitch Hall has nowhere to go. Now, Mitch Hall came into this game just 42 yards shy of a 2,000-yard junior season, but so far he has had nowhere to run. As you look at Mitch Hall right now, 7 carries for 9 yards.
Yeah, that's the Scott game plan right there, is to limit Hall as much as they can.
Another 3rd down and 7. Play action here for Moore. Lobbing it over the middle, and it's incomplete. Renfro had a really good chance at it. Now, I think this is a hold, as there was a pretty definitive hold from my perspective, and there's 2 flags right there in that area.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And big decision now. You give them 4th down, or you move them back and let them have 3rd down again. So choices to make. I think they're going to decline it.
Cale Melton says decline.
Let's see if they'll punt the ball away this time.
Both on the offense. We have offensive pass interference, number 48.
We got offsetting.
The offense, that penalty's declined. We have holding, number 53.
Both on the offense.
Both on the offense. Offensive pass interference.
Result of the play is an incomplete pass, 4th down.
So they had Colligan, the tight end, the touchdown maker, on an offensive pass interference, and Derek Bowman, you see him right there. He's a really good offensive lineman, but look at him holding Jack Curtis. I mean, there were 2 holds.
Yeah, they
right
really
there.
were.
Houston Hummel and Jack Curtis both got held, and it was easy to see, even from where we are, about 100 yards away from the field.
Yeah, and Renfro had both hands on that ball, Miles. I'm surprised he didn't come down to it. We've seen him make some great catches. Yeah.
This is already a quickly moving first half, as we've just got 5:49 remaining here in the second period. And I think that's how Craig Martin wants this game to go. I mean, if I'm playing Highland Park, I don't want Chandler Morris to get 15 possessions. I want him to have 8, maybe 10.
Yeah, well, if you give him 15 possessions, he's probably going to have 10 touchdowns. So
exactly,
you're not going to slow him down much. But you're right. I mean, this is a great strategy. This is a way, a ball control team doesn't necessarily have big play guys. They're going to have to play against Highland Park. We've already seen the big play Highland Park offense strike very, very quickly and can score really from anywhere on the field. So Coach Melton needs to, again, get these guys ready. Here's another punt situation. We just just saw a fake punt, so got to be alert to anything right now.
Look at Bowman there. Got caught holding Jack Curtis. Bowman's headed to the University of Houston. Low snap. They will punt it away this time. It's a high spiraling kick, and it will carry them out of bounds over there in front of the Scott bench. And the Scots will set up shop at about the 35-yard line. Okay, Coach, a dominant drive last time by the Scots. It was 3 plays, 40 seconds, and 64 yards. What do you think the game plan is here from Randy Allen? Just continue to attack?
I think so, Miles. I think if there's one thing we've learned in a quarter and a half is that when you get one-on-one coverage, they can't guard our guys. And we've seen our outside receivers and inside receivers beat man coverage. So as long as you can protect, because they're going to bring some heat.
Morris wants to throw. There's his receiver. That's Paxton Anderson. Look at him lower the shoulder into number 20. That was Hunter Kitchens. And Paxton Anderson is a load at 6'4", 200 pounds.
Yeah, he really is, and he used that big body to shield.
It's a 5-yard penalty.
Looks like it's coming back, though, Miles.
Love seeing our Whataburger Friday Night Stars logo up there, our Game On Sports production up on the big screen here at AT&T Stadium. But indeed, they will march this one back against the Scots, so negate that play against Paxton Anderson.
Oh, that looked like Lyman downfield. Looked like Lair had ventured down there again. You're not going to hide. But again, that's an RPO. You're block and run. You can't blame the linemen. They're going down there to try to stay in contact with their blocking assignment.
Scott's empty it out. Morris, right side, too tall for Drew Scott.
This is if you're a Bulldog fan right now, you're pretty happy with what you're seeing on this series. You've got the Scots behind the sticks a little bit, but again, they got such big play potential. You really can't ever let up and think that you have an advantage here. So again, the open receiver just a little bit high on the pass from Morris.
One of the most complete receiving cores the Scots have ever had here, with basically all 4 guys able to hurt you on any given game. They'll play action, rolling right. Morris trying to escape, and he's going to go down in a heap back at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, that's a great play on the deep. They needed that. Again, a negative play. They need to force the Scots into negative plays. You can see there's no blitz. They just kind of controlled. They're using that same thing where they're going to kind of have a spy on Chandler. If he's going to take off running, there's going to be someone that's going to match up with him. So it's important that the Scots get the play off in rhythm and that they don't have a situation where they could bring on that extra defender.
3rd down and very long after the sack there by Anthony Martinez, number 44, as Morris just never felt him, spun backwards. And now they're up against the play clock as well. Morris stepping up over the middle. There's Drew Scott, and it went through his hands. That was a fastball from Chandler Morris, and Drew beat his man, had a chance to take that one to the house.
Yeah, he had
been able to haul it in.
He had a couple of steps. You'll see they just threw it a little bit high and over and a little bit over the inside shoulder, and man, that was a chance for a big play coming out of a 3rd and forever situation. Now Scots are going to have to punt it back to the Bulldogs here as we near the 4-minute mark here in the half.
And knowing Drew, I think he would probably want to have that one back. So would Chandler, as they had a chance to connect there and ends up going incomplete. So it's 4th and 25. Hayden Kleiss off to punt it away. This is a good punt there by Hayden. And a track the returner all the way back to the 30. Terrific coverage by Highland Park. What a play there by Hayden Kleiss, number 11, who's kind of a nice little utility tool for Cale Melton.
Yeah, he really is, and that's the way you flip the field right there. The Scots were deep in their own territory, really punting it out of there, and a real nice kick, really changing the field position for the Scots' advantage right now. So time for that defense to step up again. They had stopped the last time out, got the offense another look, and this will be huge.
So far, Travis Moore has been the star of the game, both passing and rushing. He's now up to 144 total yards in this one. Wants to keep it right here up the middle. Dragged down there by Prince Dorba. Boy, Prince, for all his physical abilities, and he's got lots of it, his tackling, I think, might be his best attribute. I don't ever see Prince miss tackles. Once he gets his mitts on you, you're going down.
Yeah, he's strong. Boy, he did a good job of playing his spot that time and reacting to what he sees. That's not his job to go inside and tackle the quarterback, but he did a super job of forcing the quarterback to keep it.
2nd and 6, and Moore's going to have to throw that one out of bounds, harassed there by Dorba once again. So here comes another 3rd down, and Coach Clark, Highland Park's done a great job on 1st and 2nd down. Just got to get off the field on 3rd down.
Yeah, they really do, and credit the Bulldogs, though. They've had some manageable 3rd downs. They've kept themselves, in that 3rd and medium range, 4, 5, 6 yards to go, and pretty much have to respect the run game and the short passing game and play action.
3rd and 6. Big play here in this one as they throw it out right side. It's intercepted. Tanner Schrank going the other way for Highland Park. Needs a block down the sideline. Tanner Schrank will score. Touchdown, Scots.
Boy, that ball was thrown to no man's land there. I don't think there was a Bulldog in sight.
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, there it must have obviously some miscommunication there. But Tanner Schrank was not going to drop that one, and he was able to take it back for a pick 6. And that's a huge play for the Scots.
Big defensive play right there for HP as Tanner Schrank, a young man that's been in and out of the lineup all year, had his appendix out of all things. Told me earlier this year, I thought I ate bad Qdoba and I got sick, so I can't play. No, a couple hours later, he was in the hospital having an appendectomy. And Tanner, they are happy to have him in the lineup. And Darren Eason, the Scots' terrific cornerback coach, a guy you have a great relationship, has done a tremendous job coaching those guys up. And Tanner able to pick and score that one, make it 21-0 Scots.
Well, I guarantee you Coach Eason was going crazy for about 30 seconds right there, just screaming, go, go, go. I'm sure he was just super pumped. And, again, a great play by one of his corners and young juniors. You know, you kind of have stabilized that position with Ford Frazier and Tanner Schrank being the answer over there. Two juniors. So let's see what happened. It looked like they just busted.
Miscommunication.
Total miscommunication, and Schrank is there.
Look at Prince blocking down the field on the big man.
Get a nice
74 Matthew Wyckoff.
Yeah, just nobody there. Just a total miscommunication, and Schrank is there. Good block by Landwehr there to open it up and allow the touchdown. So
Scots will take that one.
They will.
I put a little preview on Twitter and earlier today, kind of giving my thoughts on this matchup. And one of the things I said was that Magnolia is not going to give you any plays over the course of the game. Well, they just gave the Scots 7.
They just gave it away right there. Again, just miscommunication. Receiver running a post and thinking the going to run a little out or a stop route. And again, Tanner Schrank was right there. Scott's playing a little bit of zone. It looked like Tanner had passed him off to the safety and was just looking for the next guy. And ball came right to him, and he caught it and was able to return it for a touchdown.
So great job right there by the Scott defense as they have consecutive stops. In fact, they go ahead and punch one in themselves. Now it's Wesley Winters ready to kick it off again. A deep kick this time. Fielded at the 8-yard line. And good coverage by Highland Park there on number 16, the sophomore, Heston Kelly. Boy, Hayden Kleiss does a tremendous job for Highland Park. We saw that great punt that he had, but watch him in coverage duties right here, number 11.
Yeah, they've kind of freed him up from kicking so he can get down there and cover. And you remember during the middle part of the season that he was the kickoff guy, and he's so valuable on kick cover that they have gone back to Wesley and allowed Hayden to run down there and make some tackles. And he's done a great job on special teams. Been special teams player of the week already and has really done a great job.
1st and 10. They go back to the ground. And once again, just absolutely nowhere to go. Credit Andrew Washburn, big number 99, as well as Marshall Landwehr. And you see a smile there from Big Wash as he does a solid job filling that up. And boy, they have so much depth there right on the inside of their defense with Curtis, Pettick, Washburn, Hummel, Dorba, Turner, Hershey, and Marshall Landwehr as well.
Yeah, they're deep and they're strong and they're rested. They come on, they rotate them well. Coach Bean and Coach Leidner work well together with the inside backers and the D-line, and they're fresh and ready to go, and they're hungry.
2nd down and 10. They go with the option. It's Moore. Wanted to pitch it. Got to keep it himself. The Scots did a tremendous job stringing that one out as they ran that to Andrew Bonnet's side. And boy, we don't talk enough about these outside linebackers for Highland Park. John Beetrell had a career game last week with 10 tackles and a sack, but these guys just do their job every single play, and usually that means they're not going to actually make the tackle because they turn it back inside. But Chase Davis's guys, 23 and 24, are both really good.
You know, I thought they did a fantastic job last week of getting underneath the coverage of the outside guys, forcing some high throws and really getting in the passing lane. So they really have been active, even though they got their hands on a few balls, but they didn't come up with a pick, but they were close.
Another 3rd down. Moore rolling left, harassed there by Prince Dorba, who will sack him. The ball came out. Moore able to get it back. And then finally wrestled down there at the 30. Boy, that reminded me an awful lot of Prince Dorba in the title game last year, chasing down Shadow Creek. And Dorba, for the 2nd consecutive week, has a sack fumble.
Yeah, that's a great play. Look, he's got so much speed. He's going to, and that little Jaeger roll tackle right there, we were talking about that last week, that he gets those big mitts around you, and he's going to get you to the ground. And ball comes out, and again, pretty athletic play there.
Oh, man.
By Moore, by Moore to scoop it up and save a big turnover for the Scots to have a chance there here in the last minute 38 to go, get another look. So does bring up a big 4th down, though. Scots should get the ball back with a couple of one timeout left, and Coach Allen will have something up his sleeve.
Well, I'll tell you what, Travis Moore has been really impressive in this game. And And let's take a look at some of these first half numbers for Travis Moore. 9 out of 15, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, on the last 2 possessions, Travis Moore has not been tremendous. He threw a pick 6 and then just fumbled. But previously, he had 48 rushing yards and 100 passing. Really had moved the chains, kind of pulling rabbits out of his hat on third downs. But now another punting situation. And the Scots are going to send 2 men back here. Case Savage and Drew Scott. I think it's the first time I've ever seen Drew back to return a punt.
Yeah. Expect something like a reverse here too, Miles.
Yep.
Something coming up
You
here.
never know. It's a low snap. They want to fake it again. And now he's rugby style going to get rid of it. Case Savage will field it on a hop at the 40. Savage down the sideline. There he goes. Case Savage had a big return right there in the title game last year. But boy, number 14, Ben Renfro, scares you back there at that
He really does.
position.
And I love that. I think you turn the 4th down into an offensive play. He's tucked it, and then he's able to grab it and punt it away. So that's just having an athlete back there. Great job by Case, man, to turn it the other way and make a nice return. That takes
Look
gutsy.
at Cale Melton.
Coach Melton going nuts over there, loving all that. That's for sure. And great job. Great stop by the Scots. The offense got great field position now, and a minute and 26 to go.
The last 5 minutes has been all Scots. Morris has time over the middle, and it's off the hands of Ben Smith. Kind of dangerous as that ball fluttered in the secondary, and Smith couldn't haul that one in.
That kind of threw into coverage that time.
Yeah, that was scary.
Got away with that one a little bit.
Rylan Rich, one of the team captains there, number 49, was all over Smith. Chandler probably didn't need to throw that ball. He had time.
Probably didn't need to throw that one, but got away with it and got second down. So that's
2nd and 10. 82 seconds remain here in the first half. Morris has a man. That's Hunter Heath. Watch him go. And Hunter effortlessly accelerating away from the defense, able to pick up another first down. What a weapon 38 is.
And get out of bounds, too, and stop the clock. No, it would have stopped for a first down anyway, but now you can wait till the snap. So, again, a very heady play. Scott's making a real smart play. One of those things they practice, that 2-minute drill on their walkthrough on Thursdays, which in this case was Wednesday.
Yep, obviously a short week for the Scots. They skipped their normal Wednesday practice. Pressure coming here from Magnolia. Morris stepping up, rolling, trying to make something happen, accelerating, now lobbing it deep. Has a man. That's Drew Scott. What can he do after the catch? At the 10, inside the 5. Drew down at the 3-yard line. Drew Scott, who signed with Ohio State last week to play lacrosse, is a 3-sport superstar for Highland Park. Basketball, lacrosse, and there he is doing his thing here on the gridiron. But what a play by Chandler Morris.
They really, look at that, running to the left, throwing a strike back to his right. Drew's hanging with the play there, changing his route to adjust to Chandler. And, boy, what a great throw. And, again, the Scots are knocking on the door again. Drew Scott having a big, big game.
Well, Drew Scott is a star, and that's not an opinion of mine. That's a fact. Drew Scott averages 23 yards of reception on the season. I mean, this guy is a weapon. Barely played, really, over the course of his 2-year career here, with a couple of different injuries, and missed the playoff run last year where he would have had a chance to really announce himself on the state scene as what a legitimate star he is. But in the time that he's in the lineup, all he does is make plays.
Yeah, that's great. And the Scots spent their last time out, just something to keep in mind here, inside of a minute here on the snap of this ball.
Okay, Savage goes in motion. Morris rolling left, has a wide open Savage. The 2nd touchdown of the game for number 5, and Highland Park has a 2-score lead.
Boy, that's great. You know, that pick 6 really gave them that service break, so to speak, that they needed, and able to come right back with another touchdown.
Great play design that time by the Scots as they go 4 plays, 45 yards, and just 30 seconds. Boy, you look at the scoring drives for Highland Park, 37 seconds, 40 seconds, and 30 seconds. This is a big play offense.
Big play offense. They really do get it going, and not a lot of time of possession, you know.
Well, Dave, let's take a look at some of the per play averages for these Highland Park players, okay? Paxton Anderson is actually going to be the worst of this bunch at 14.5 a reception. Ben Smith, 16.5 a reception. Case Savage, 19.5 a reception. Drew Scott averages 23 yards a catch. Then you look at Hunter Heath, who averages 13.4 yards a carry on the season. Last week he went 11 for 141, and it terribly hurt his average. And then you look at Chandler Morris, who averages 12 yards an attempt on the season when he goes to the air. And Highland Park right now, with here just under a minute to play in the first half, 236 of total offense, 10 first downs. Chandler Morris is 8 out of 12 for 176. And how about 22 yards a completion for Chandler?
It's just more of the same, like you said. It's what they've been doing all year long. It's just so impressive. And the Scots really just get it and go. And they've done a super job of just, like you said, big plays. They got a lot of guys you got to defend. I mean, you just went through the whole list. There's not a guy where you say, I got to stop Drew Scott. I got to double him. Well, then the two inside guys, or Anderson picked you up on the backside, or then Hunter Heath runs for 200 yards, which he did the last two regular season games. So, you know, these guys are going to be tough offensively, and defense certainly doing their share too.
And fumbling the kick there was number 20, Hunter Kitchens. Kind of a rough half so far for Kitchens.
Yeah, they need to kind of get a little poise. The halftime's going to come just at the right time for the Bulldogs, because I just watching a little bit. They look a little rattled right now.
Well,
and
they do.
They need to settle down and just kind of take a breath here. Because they were playing well for a quarter and a half. They had the game.
But Mitch Hall, who is their star tailback, has 8 carries for 10 yards. I mean, this is a guy that averages 8 yards a carry on the season, flirting with the 2,000-yard year, but he won't get it if the second half goes like the first half did.
No, and that's the guy that the Scott defense needed to stop, and they've done a great job on him the whole game, the whole half here. So
there's Hall again for no gain.
Yeah, they got to feel like they got to get some push. They're getting no push up front, Miles. That big offensive line that we talked about the beginning of the game, very talented group. They're getting nothing on the line of scrimmage.
Agreed. And the Scots are rushing the passer well.
Getting
in
pressure.
Addition.
Yeah, there's if that's the strength of their team, which it has been coming into this game, the Scots are really flexing their muscles with that defensive line and inside linebacker strength.
Well, 3 offensive linemen committed to play at the Division I level, but they did not have a good first half, as Highland Park dominated on first and second downs in this first half. Now, Travis Moore was able to make some plays. 7 carries for 50 yards with his legs, most of those on third downs. And then in the air, he threw for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, but not enough, as the Scots end up dominating the second quarter. And just like every other game, you look up and they've got 250 yards here at halftime.
And they strike so fast. I mean, it's almost like you blink and you're all of a sudden, instead of a 14-14 game, you're down 2 touchdowns. And it just seems like it happened in a flash. And it really did, because you mentioned, they will not beat themselves. And, man, they made a mistake, and the Scots made them pay with that pick 6. And the next thing you know, you get a stop, and then the Scots go down with some more big plays and score. So you got a little momentum on wearing blue and gold right now as we enter the halftime.
Now, as we do get here to halftime, and we're going to take a quick break, and then we will have the Magnolia Band on the field. So we'll talk through the Magnolia Band, and then the Highland Park Band and Bells will do their thing, and we should be joined by a cavalcade of stars here in the booth at halftime, including our old pal Guy Frazier, and then Greg Powers of 247 Recruiting should be able to join us up here at halftime as well. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back here from AT&T Stadium.
When I think Lexus, I automatically think Sewell.
When I look at a license plate that says just Lexus, I'm like, oh, that's good for you. When I see a Sewell on it, I'm like, you know what I know.
I show up and I have my crew with me. They acknowledge me and they acknowledge my children, maybe give them a high five.
You get more than you expect. You get the wow factor at Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and L-certified Lexus vehicles at Sewell Lexus.
The customer service is really unparalleled. I've never seen anything like it with any other company.
The emblem, it just says a lot. It means, hey, I bought from Sewell.
They listened to what I had to say and actually cared about my experience.
Every once in a while, you want to be spoiled, and Sewell does that.
It's not just a transaction. That's the thing about Sewell.
I will always drive a Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and certified pre-owned vehicles at Sewell Infiniti.
When I think Lexus, I automatically think Sewell.
When I look at a license plate that says just Lexus, I'm like, oh, that's good for you. When I see a Sewell on it, I'm like, you know what I know.
I show up and I have my crew with me. They acknowledge me and they acknowledge my children, maybe give them a high five.
You get more than you expect. You get the wow factor at Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and L-certified Lexus vehicles at Sewell Lexus.
The customer service is really unparalleled. I've never seen anything like it with any other company.
The emblem, it just says a lot. It means, hey, I bought from Sewell.
They listened to what I had to say and actually cared about my experience.
Every once in a while, you want to be spoiled, and Sewell does that.
It's not just a transaction. That's the thing about Sewell.
I will always drive a Sewell.
Discover our wide variety of new and certified pre-owned vehicles at Sewell Cadillac or SewellCadillac.com.
Welcome back to AT&T Stadium. I'm Miles Dunklin, joined up here in the booth by David Clark, former defensive backs coach at Highland Park and the captain of Highland Park football in his own right, David Clark. So, Coach Clark, boy, the kind of ebbs and flows in that first half for the Scotties as Highland Park able to strike on just the second play of the game. Case Savage, a 78-yard touchdown. And then it was a methodical drive by Magnolia. They went down and scored on a nice touchdown to their star receiver, number 14, Ben Renfro, who is headed to play at Utah. And then it was a nice drive by the Scots, but they missed a field goal. And then then another score on another good drive by Magnolia, and for a minute there it was looking like the Bulldogs were going to be in control there in the first half, but then 3 consecutive scores by Highland Park as they had some quick drives, a big play to Drew Scott, Hunter Heath flexing his muscles, and then a big pick 6 by Tanner Schrank. And then on the following drive, as the Scots got another defensive stop, they kind of settled in, able to stop Travis Moore a little bit, who ran wild in that first quarter. And then Chandler Morris, who did Chandler Morris things and spun out of the pocket and ran wild and ended up finding Drew Scott before he was able to go down at about the 3-yard line. And then they found Case Savage for another first half touchdown. So that's how we got to 28-14. Give me your thoughts on that opening 2 periods.
Well,
I'll from Jerry World.
You're absolutely right. It seemed like right after the Scots had missed that field goal, you kind of felt like the little bit of the air had gone out of this place. And when they all of a sudden a real momentum shift for the Bulldogs as they really felt like they had the game under control. Then they go down and score and went up. Instead of a 10-7 game, they go up and it's 14-7. And then they are riding a lot of momentum. Scots come right back and answer, and I thought those drives and of course then that big stop not only that but a big pick 6 really changed the game. I mean, it's a play like that you look back on and say, boy, that was the momentum, that was the big one right there, and that really did just a miscommunication between the quarterback and his receivers about who was supposed to be there, and quarterback threw it to a spot and it was complete to Tanner Schrank for a touchdown.
That's not who they wanted to
That wasn't how
it to.
they drew it up. So Tanner was able to ramble down the sidelines and get the Scots up, and like a service break right there, and all of a sudden defense comes right back with another big stop on another one of those rugby punt style things too. So again, take your hats off to Coach Melton. He's made a lot of adjustments here since maybe midway through the second quarter, trying to take Travis Moore out of the game a little bit more. They have done a great job. Job 1 was to stop Mitch Hall, and they have stopped Mitch Hall.
Check.
Cold in his tracks. And the adjustment there was to make sure that Travis Moore is one-dimensional. Make sure that he doesn't run the ball. Make him throw the ball, make him get rid of it quick, and put a little pressure on him. to make some good throws. And you know what? They forced him into a big mistake.
Let's take a look at some of those first half stats as the Scots lead this one 28-14, and they got 21 of those in that second quarter. First downs, it's 10-8 Highland Park. Total yards, 236 to 173. Now, passing is where the Scots did a lot of their damage as they got 22 yards per completion in that first half. Chandler Morris was 8 out of 12. The Scots also rushed it well with 60 yards in that first half, 5 yards per attempt. And you look at Travis Moore, he was 9 out of 16 for 100 yards, did have that costly interception. But to me, the biggest stat in that first half is Mitch Hall, 10 carries for 16 yards. He needed just 42 yards to go over the 2,000-yard mark on the season. And at this rate, he's not going to get there.
No, he's not. And again, I just mentioned that was job one of the defensive coaching staff. How are we going to stop Mitch Hall? So they've done a great job of doing that. As you mentioned, 10 carries, 16 yards. Man, that is great. That is stuffing him completely.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a tremendous job. I really did like the game from Ben Renfro there in the first half. He's a good player. Had that rushing attempt where he was able to pick up a fourth down conversion on the punt. As let's go ahead and bring on Mike Roach for the first time in Game On Sports Productions history. Mike, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Mike, tell us first what you do here.
Well, I cover recruiting and high school football for 24/7 Sports, specifically for Horns 24/7, the University of Texas. And obviously with Prince Dorba on the field, that's a big area of focus for us.
Now, we're going to ask you a couple quick questions here, and then I want to get the real star of the show, Guy Frazier, of course, on the program as well to talk about some of these other teams around the area. But what was your first half thoughts on this game here, this area round matchup between Highland Park and Magnolia?
You know, Magnolia, I think, what's interesting about the way when regions realigned a couple of years ago and those North Houston teams started being put in these earlier matchups with DFW teams, I think for guys like me who are based in DFW, it's harder to get a read on them because they're not teams we're incredibly familiar with. And they present some challenges. I think that Magnolia is really big up front, has some offensive pop, and, you know, was really a team that I thought would be able to take Highland Park's best shot. Now, they kind of did what teams tend to do against Highland Park. They made a couple of mistakes, and the Scots made them pay for it. And I think that's where we've seen the separation here. But a really big team up front. I'll be really interested to see how they regroup and kind of re-attack in the second half.
Now, I want to get your thoughts. Okay, let's start with Prince Dorba. Okay, that's your boy, as he's, of course, headed to play for the evil empire there, the Texas Longhorns. Of course, I went to A&M, so I'm not much of a Longhorn fan myself, but we're all rooting for Prince. He's a great human being and a great football player. Your thoughts on his first half, had that sack fumble, and your thoughts on him as a college player?
I really like Prince. He's the best pure pass rusher in the state of Texas. I mean, just as far as a guy who can come off the edge and terrorize quarterbacks. It's not what he's asked to do for Highland Park a lot. He's asked to play a lot of two-gap and run control. But, you know, I mean, that's what they have to do to win at this level. I think he's going to be asked to do different things at Texas. But even here, you know, when he's put into a role that I don't think necessarily fits his strengths, he still figures out how to make it a positive. And he is, even for, you know, as a guy who's probably going to be a linebacker at the next level, an outside edge rusher, he's the guy that has to take on the big bodies in the trenches here, and he does it well. He does it with a lot of quickness. He has good use of his hands. And he's really strong. Like, first play of the game, the kid he's going up against is going to be probably a high 4-star kid next year, Matthew Wyckoff at Magnolia. First play of the game, he bull rushed him straight into the backfield. So he kind of has a mix of everything, blends and converts speed to power really well off the edge. That's what we really love about Prince, and I think he's going to be put into more of an attacking role in college. But obviously, you know, I mean, he still figures out a way to be an incredibly productive player now.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on Patrick Turner, a guy that's 240 pounds, has that Division I size, and had a good first half as well.
A bit of a throwback player. You don't find linebackers a lot in the state of Texas, and you certainly don't find the big interior guys like him. But is a guy that I think is, you know, when you think 6'2", 240, you think a guy that can only come straight downhill and make those plays. I think he's a lot more athletic than he probably gets credit for. Can move laterally a little bit, can move sideline to sideline. and really is a guy that's been a force in the middle of that defense since I saw him last year. I really liked him, and I think he's a guy that fits at the Power 5 level. I would like to probably see him in a conference that's a little more run heavy, that plays to his strengths a little more. I'm not sure if like the Big 12 would be the best place for him, but certainly a guy who can play at the Power 5 level.
And then, of course, everybody's been able to see Chandler Morris over the years, and we've seen him play at an extremely high level. What do you think he can do on Saturdays?
I think Chandler is he's a lot more. He's got limitations, just like any other player does. But what I think he brings in intangibles is really what makes him special, and that's really what separates a lot of quarterbacks and finding ways out of situations. I've seen Chandler play a lot over the past couple of years, and just when you think every time that you've got him down, he somehow figures out a way to get out of it. And I think that's what makes quarterbacks great, is figuring out a way to win, figuring out a way to maybe overcome what those what those deficiencies are in your game and play to your strengths. I think Guy, who we mentioned earlier, has talked about it a lot, but I think he is a lot more athletic than he gets credit for.
Definitely.
Really, I love him on the run. He had a play late in the first half that set up that touchdown where he made a great throw on the run, rolling to his left, which is really hard to do for a right-handed quarterback, and threw a dime. I think that he understands the game cerebrally. Obviously, as a son of a coach, that's really what you look for.
And then I want to get your thoughts here as we're going to pivot here and bring in Guy Frazier. But Braden Shager is a guy we didn't see there in that first half, but is a guy that certainly can play at the next level.
Yeah, he's got the size, the arm, everything you look for. I'll be interested to see him, what he looks like once Chandler moves on and the job is his. I saw him in the spring throw a little bit and really liked, the way the ball came out of his hand. I'd love to see him in some game action before I can evaluate more of a full opinion on him. But, it looks like Highland Park continues to be blessed at the quarterback position, and that's what kind of drives the bus for them.
Absolutely. The rest of the world doesn't get to live like that, Mike. Not everybody gets to succeed with one of the greatest Texas high school football players ever in John Stephen Jones, with another great one in Chandler Morris, and then Braden Shager looks like he's next in line. So, Mike, thanks for your time.
I appreciate you guys
Enjoy
for
it
having
down
me.
there on the sideline. Absolutely. There he goes. That's Mike Roach. So let's go ahead and bring in Guy Frazier here. And Guy, I want to get your quick thoughts here. Give me about 30 seconds as we got the Highlander Band coming on.
About the first half there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought the interception there by Tanner Schrank was huge. Good little separator to get him up 2 scores before halftime. And, overall, I thought with Chandler, there was some good, there was some bad. But his good moments were really good. So just got to keep it up there in the second half and extend this lead and see where we go in the second half.
It's always a big game when Guy Frazier's in the house. So we're glad to have you, Coach. And unfortunately, we're going to have to get out of here right now because the Highlander Band is up next.
Okay.
We will have the second half after the band and the bells as the Scots lead it here 28-14. You're watching Highland Park football presented by Game On Sports.
Highland Park High School proudly presents the 2019 Highland Bells. Lieutenants from Left to Rygar, Sophie Foltz, Jamie Wonder, Riley Cheek, Kristen Wonder, and Ellie McFarland.
Welcome back here to AT&T Stadium for Will Washington down on the sideline. Next to me, David Clark. I am Miles Dunklin as we've got a 28-14 halftime score here in the area round of the playoffs here in Region 2 of 5A Division 1. And Coach Clark, some early momentum for the Scots. It swung back to Magnolia's side. Early score for HP, then 14 in a row for Magnolia, then 21 unanswered by the Scots to win the second quarter.
Yeah, all sparked by that big interception from Tanner Schrank, and really kind of turned the game around right there on that play. Scots went up 21-14, able to get another stop then and add another one there late in the second quarter to take the 2-touchdown lead. And really that interception, pick six, right now looms as just an enormous play. And again, just a miscommunication between the receiving core and the quarterback on the Bulldog side. And unfortunately, that it really was a costly mistake.
As we take a look at some of those first half highlights, great catch right there by Ben Renfro, the Utah commit there for Magnolia, able to get them on the board. And it was an interesting first half, kind of up and down for Travis Moore. That was one of the ups, as he was able to find Gavin Mason to move the chains. And then this was a great play design right here on the play action to find the tight end, Ben Culligan.
Boy, that is an ultimate lob right there. They just didn't want to miss him and just kind of threw it up. It's almost like an alley-oop there for a dunk. But watch Chandler make a play. This is that's when he got sacked. That's the sack right there.
Anthony Martinez got him.
Yeah. Now, when we see one later on, that's a little more impressive than that.
This was the second play of the game, as it was cover zero, meaning no safeties deep, man-to-man across the board.
Scots
and Case Chavez just beat him clean.
Scots came out with their little package and showed that 5-wide set, and there was Case Savage. And here's Drew Scott with a big reception over the middle. And again, they found when they get that man coverage, they've been really taking advantage of it. It's hard to guard these wideouts.
Solid first half for Hunter Heath. He had 7 carries for 70 yards. Wesley Winters ready to kick it away. And it's going to be a short kick left side, caught at the 20. Scots need good coverage here, and the man's loose. Into the secondary all the way out. Close to midfield at the 42-yard line. Nice return right there. A man that had a busy first half in Hunter Kitchens.
Yeah, and this is a big 5 minutes here to start this third quarter. The Bulldogs need to get back into this game. They're 2 scores down. They don't have a big come-from-behind type offense. So if they were to fall further behind, that could really doom their chances. So real good. They can stick with their game plan here if they can somehow march this ball down the field and get a touchdown and get back into this thing in a 1-score game.
First down and 10. They throw it left side. That's the slot receiver, number 11, Gavin Mason. Like I said, it was an up and down first half. I thought the first quarter, Travis Moore might have been the best player on the field. They got to third down over and over again, and Travis Moore continued to move the chains, whether it was with his feet or with his arm, and then the second quarter was not so kind.
Yeah, you're right about that, and that's because Mitch Hall was just really a non-factor.
And there goes Mitch Hall.
There he goes right there.
That's his best run of the night. Still in bounds and finally pushed out inside the 5 as Mitch Hall goes over 2,000 yards on the season on that carry. Now, he had a total of 12 first half rushing yards on 10 carries, but that time able to burst free into the Scott secondary.
Boy, that's when you just challenge that offensive line that kind of got you here in the second round of the playoffs and say you need to get after it a little bit. And the Scots had been handling it up front, but now it was all Bulldogs on that play right there.
And there's a big boy in the backfield for Magnolia. They hand it to him, rumbling into the end zone, and he'll score.
Yeah, they went with their own version of a jumbo package, and number 95, Harris, comes up with a big touchdown run. And, boy, I said they needed to answer, and they answered quickly and with a big play of their own.
Incredibly quick, 48 seconds. Magnolia does not list height and weight, but I can tell you that Harris is large.
He's a big fella. He sure is. And that was all nice. He wasn't in there to block, Miles. He was in there to run the football. So that's going to be something to watch if they need to get a short yardage play.
All right, so Magnolia starts the second half with a quick drive. 3 plays, 59 yards, took just 48 seconds off the clock. But I think a big play there was the return, able to get it out to midfield. And then, boy, that's big for them to get Mitch Hall going on this run right here, because they had to have no confidence in their running game until that play.
Absolutely. And, you know, Coach Martin had to challenge those guys and say, look, what is going on? You got to go win your battle, win your individual battle, and really challenge them to push the Scott defensive line, get a little movement up front. And they sure have on those first 2 plays. In that particular play, Harris didn't need a lot of movement. He just needed a little crease to get through and bring that big body through there for the touchdown. So that's a great answer. And, man, we've got a ball game now. I mean, the Scots had scored first in this third quarter. It might have just, like I said, it might have been doomed for the Bulldogs. But now we got a ball game, and they've got a lot of momentum. And they've got a lot of trick stuff here. They, you know, who knows when you might see an onside kick or something like that.
Deep kick in the direction of Will Pettyjohn from his own 20-yard line. Trying to get some momentum. Will still loose across the 40. Both teams with good returns to start the second half, and that'll bring up the Scots and Chandler Morris for the first time. Chandler was 9 out of 12 for 176 and 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Well, it's a nice run by Pettyjohn to find a little crease, and Scots start with great field position.
Hunter Heath in the backfield with Chandler Morris, and it's number 90, Luke Cameron, in front of them. They go with the option. Morris puts on the fake. He's loose across midfield. Down the sideline. There goes Chandler Morris in a foot race, and he's going to win it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Highland Park. A 58-yard scamper from the dual threat quarterback.
Is that an answer? Was that quick enough? That is awesome. What a great run. He kind of faked that option and had the little bit of a crease there, and he was able to turn that 4.4 speed and sprint. It looked like he was going to run out of bounds. I think maybe some of the Bulldogs thought he might run out of bounds, but he kept it going and trucking down the sidelines and rambled into the end zone for a big score.
So Chandler Morris with a big answer, rumbling down the sideline. Big time run there by Chandler. That is his 16th rushing score of the year. So he's now up to 53 total touchdowns here in his senior season. For the first time tonight, let's go ahead and establish Will Washington down on the sideline.
Hey guys, that is the exact response you would expect from a team that has outscored teams
here at Chandler.
I think right about there, they thought he might run out of bounds. Yeah, great block downfield. We've talked about that being the difference in a first down to a touchdown. Even Ben Smith got a little piece of a Bulldog there, and again, rambling down there. Spicer's unable to catch him, and just a great run by Chandler, just taking exactly as much as he could get. Boy, great job downfield
Drew
blocking.
Scott, what a play by Drew. And what a play it was by Chandler right at the line of scrimmage to make number 30, Jarrett Pleasant, miss. Threw a little fake on him. All smiles there for Chandler, who's still trying to catch his breath there on the sideline.
The Scott offense just looks like they can just do what they want to do here tonight, Miles, and just a matter of getting the stops and forcing maybe another turnover or so to get the Scots ahead. But they go back up 2 scores, and that's huge right now in this game.
Problem with playing Highland Park, and I've said this the last couple of weeks, but you got to play them for 48 minutes, Coach Clark.
You cannot let up, and you cannot take a play off. You know, that's also something you talk about a lot. But if you take a play off against these guys, they'll beat you. They'll burn you. And not that the Bulldogs did. They had all the momentum, but the Scots are that talented, and you miss a tackle or you miss – somebody was supposed to be on the quarterback on the option and had a little crease, and he was able to take it to the house.
Hard to hang with Highland Park for 4 quarters. We've seen teams do it for little spurts here and there throughout the course of a game, but with the exception of Frisco Lone Star, Highland Park's last loss, nobody's been able to do it for the whole ball game. As they want to throw it right side, it's caught, kind of going the wrong direction. There is number 11. Tried to get outside of Andrew Bonnet was Gavin Mason, and he would have been better to just go ahead and turn that upfield.
Yeah, that was a nice, again, a first down throw, which is, a little play action stuff. And they established Mitch Hall on that last series with a huge run to set up that touchdown. So challenging that offensive line to move some Scotties out of the way, and let's see if they go back to that game plan.
Rolling left is Travis Moore. He has a man there at the 32-yard line. That's going to bring up another third down. It's Gavin Mason again. He came in with just 13 catches on the year, but he has been busy tonight for Mason. That is his 6th catch of the evening. Big third down upcoming here for Travis Moore. Throwing left side. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. The catch made there by Heston Kelly. Now, that will go ahead and move the chains. I thought it might be short, but right there at the marker, they say first down, Magnolia.
Yeah, just barely got it. Nice catch over there on the outside by Kelly, and he was able to get down and scoop it. So big play, move the chains, and the Bulldogs are doing what they need to do, and that is make first downs right now.
1st and 10 here with 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. It's a keeper here by Travis Moore, navigating that Scott defense, and solid first down pickup there for Moore. Mentioned the ebbs and flows in that first half for Travis Moore. Good look there at Isaiah Pettick, who is a good-looking player for HP, number 97.
Yeah, another youngster who's just going to be around a while, and be fun to watch him mature as a football player.
2nd down and 3 to go. Handoff is to number 5, Mitch Hall, going the wrong direction, and a flag down.
And he looks like he's hurt.
Hopefully Mitch Hall will be okay.
I don't know if he rolled
walking
over
off
the
on
football.
his own power. Now, Coach, they are really thin at running back.
Holding, number 70 on the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
That's Cade Bond, who is committed to the University of North Texas. This is one of the state's best offensive lines, and right now, Bobby Leidner's group is having their way.
They really are. They're playing great up front, and they're really controlling the running game right now. That one big run by Hall has been it as far as any kind of space. Had a nice run by the quarterback early in the first quarter, but that's been it.
So 2nd down and 13 to go here. And this is the kind of position that Magnolia cannot get in. Straight drop here for Moore. Wants to go deep, has a man, and it's incomplete. Tanner Schrank had a chance at it. And then it was Gavin Mason on the second effort that had a chance on it, but it falls harmlessly to the floor.
Yeah, he had a real chance at this one, kind of undercut it a little bit. Looked like he had had his bearings on it, but just slipped through his hands. That can be, I'm telling you, that can be kind of dangerous from a defensive back standpoint. If that ball goes through your hands, it's a touchdown. So you got to, when you make a break and undercut one, you better get at least knock it down.
Whistles blow here, and the timeout's going to be taken by Highland Park.
Highland Park. That is their first charge timeout of the half.
Okay, 3rd down and 13. Now, we talked about the Scots kind of moving Prince Dorba around a little bit when they get in definitive passing situations. And this is really not where Travis Moore wants to be. He came into this game with 1,600 yards on the year, 23 touchdowns, 5 INTs, but just 55% completions. You want your quarterback up there at least over that 60-yard or 60% mark. And 3rd down and 13 is not their MO.
No, it's not. And you know, they're a play-action run team. 65, 70% of the time they run the ball, and they really don't want to get in a 3rd and long situation. And this could be a real bonus for the Scots if they get a stop here.
As the Scots have spent their first time out, let's go downstairs to Will Washington.
Will Anderson.
Real.
All right, so once again, can't connect with Will down there. But a big 3rd and 13 upcoming. Scots show pressure. Look at Prince Dorbo walking around. Now he comes off the edge. They throw it over the middle. It's caught. That's Renfro, and a big hit made there, but the Scott player is down. That looks scary. That is a scary situation right now for that Scott defender. That's John Beetrell. He went limp as soon as he made the play.
Yeah, it looked like went low and then maybe caught a knee right in the head. We'll see what happens here as trainers are out there taking a look at John. Good play. Scott's got to stop on have a fourth down coming up, and that can be a dangerous play for the Scott special teams.
And it was a big hit by Beetrell, and he really has yet to move down there. This is a big cavernous facility, and it is quiet at the moment. John Beetrell still kind of on his hip. Scots have a terrific training staff led by Jay Harris, number of team doctors. And let's see if we can check in with Will Washington downstairs.
Yeah, guys, scary moment right here. The team's taking a knee, seeing if John's okay. Really good training staff. But in the meantime, what I'll tell you is that is exactly the response you would expect from a team that's outscored teams 116-43 in the third quarter. And it really starts here on the bench. You can see the way that these coaches are coaching them up. The leaders are getting everybody focused. So even with some adversity tonight, you can really see in the leadership the way that they're able to have great second and third quarters as we hope for a good response and result out here on the field right now.
The only concern at the moment is for the health of John Beetrell. And he really, I regret to inform you, has yet to move down there on the field. And now he's rolled over a little bit of movement there from John, and now he's sitting up. So that's great news there from John Beetrell, a tremendous kid, a tremendous football player. And Coach Clark, it doesn't take long to kind of change your perspective about what's important.
Boy, isn't that the truth? I think he's going to get up and going to be helped off the field.
Thank God.
A lot of times those trainers and of course the entire Scott medical doctor team was around him too. Dr. Champagne and Dr. Pascal, all of those guys were right there, and they were there to make sure that he's okay. And it looks like he's walking off, get a little arm being held there by Coach Harris, and but he looks like he's going to at least be okay here for be able to walk around a little bit, get his wind back.
And like I said, the game doesn't seem quite as important.
No.
When somebody's down on the ground not moving, and you're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids with their whole lives ahead of them. So back to football here as Case Savage has it on the return. Nice play here by Case, and now he's loose, trying to avenge his senior teammate in John Beetrell. It's always hard, David, to transition back into the football game after a play like that.
It is, and that was a major collision. It looked like the receiver was trying to jump and maybe caught John's knee. John's head hit the knee, just coming full speed, and of course a thigh pad or something. But it looked like it may have just dazed him a little bit. We used to call those stingers, know, and rung his bell a little bit. But usually you just kind of lay limp, and then you kind of wake up, and everything's a little fuzzy from there on out. So nice little pass and catch there. Paxton Anderson on the receiving end for a nice first down to start the series.
A nice pitch and catch. Plenty of time there for Morris, and then he threw a strike right there, right into the big mitts of Paxton Anderson, who is a large target there on the perimeter. Get a good look there at Paxton, the cousin of John Stephen Jones, and he ought to be pretty comfortable in this building.
Yeah, it's kind of like his backyard. This is where you have birthday parties when you're growing up, when your grandfather owns the stadium. So that's what you do.
Scots want to run the option. They pitch it there to Hunter Heath, trying to make a man miss. Nice little stutter step there from Hunter. Kind of a late shove into the Magnolia bench, but 38 is none the worse for the wear, and another solid pickup. Boy, just about every time they go to Hunter, he's going to make at least one guy miss.
He really
and then
is.
outrun some people to the sideline. Look at this move right here.
Yeah, they did a better job. They forced that pitch, get that ball out of Chandler's hand. And that really was a little late on the strike. So, but that was a great play to get the ball out of Chandler's hand. And Hunter's pretty dangerous himself, but we saw what Chandler can do on that option.
Play action. Nice block there by Hunter Heath as they want to go deep for Drew Scott, and it's incomplete. Nice coverage there on the back end as we had a couple number 7s matching up there with Corbin Shields and Drew Scott.
Well, that was a nice pass. I mean, it wasn't complete, but watch this. Just throw it over. This is the only place it could be, right over his shoulder. Man, that's a nice throw, and just a little shot, just about a half a step too long for Drew to run it down.
Scots nursing a 14-point lead here. Teams trading blows to start this third quarter. Then the Scots getting off the field. They want to make it a 3-score lead as they hand it to Hunter Heath, breaking a tackle at the 40, stutter step at the 35, and an easy, casual first down pickup for Hunter Heath.
You know, how does that little guy break tackles? You got to wonder. I mean, he really is just tough to get to the ground, and he's been doing it all this year.
Holding, number 7 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay third down.
Yeah, that's a tough play right there. Again, Drew trying to help him downfield, gets a little too much jersey. But, you know, Hunter Heath at 5'6", 145 is breaking tackles. And not only is he a 100-meter man, but he seems to break his share of tackles. And it's just amazing. That little guy can really zoom around. So
heart over height.
It really is. That's about the size of that heart. It's all heart. Got the 2-back look coming in here with following that penalty, the back to 3rd and 5 now. So it was a downfield penalty.
And the Scots go with the 2-back set. Doak Walker and Will Anderson have checked in here. Number 2 and number 22. Scots want to throw it. There is Drew Scott on the move and trucking a defender at the 20. He's still loose. Drew Scott will score. Touchdown Highland Park. What an effort by number 7.
Boy, what an effort by number 6. Paxton Anderson downfield, trucking the safety that was in the middle of the field, plowing the field for Drew Scott to take it to the end zone. What a great block. And he's a load, Miles. He's a big fella to try to get to the ground.
And you see Prince Dorba showing off the bicep right there, saying, hey, you're big and strong, big fella. How about Drew Scott, 6'2", 190 pounds, and just going right through a Magnolia defender on his way to the end zone. And the Scots have a cool 42 points on the board with 20 minutes to play.
And if you get a chance to watch this again, I'm telling you, watch Paxton Anderson's downfield block. You talk about trucking somebody. He just went right over them. It was no push shove wide receiver block. Watch this, number 6. Oh, that's his catch right there, doing it all. But man, what a play!
And there it is. There's Scott at the 30. Watch number 6.
Watch this, boom, right
Great
there.
Great block right there.
That's the guy that was going to make the tackle, and Paxton just mowed him over. Man, what a play!
Think those wide receivers have been in the weight room a little bit?
Man,
how about that right there? Truck stick, and then there's another truck stick.
Man, you got to love that. I'm telling, blocking for each other. And you knew Drew Scott wanted to get that one back after getting called for a holding penalty.
Look at Drew lower his head right there, and he's just stronger.
He wasn't going to dodge anybody. That's great. That is fun. That's a real in-your-face play right there. That is a power move.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Hakes, number 12, and I hate to call him out, the guy that got run over right there, but Tristan Weber, the Scots' outstanding quarterback coach, told me during the week, boy, number 12 is a great hitter. 30 solo tackles on the year, but no match for Drew Scott, and really not even close.
No, it really wasn't. And that determination and that athleticism right there showed for both of those young men as they cleared the path for each other. I love watching these wide receivers block, Miles. I think it's, that's why Hunter Heath has had some touchdown runs of some major distances. Those wide receivers making blocks. That's what makes first downs into touchdowns. And those two guys, number 6 and number 7, have really done a great job on the outside for the Scots.
Well, there's no question. You look at the Morris touchdown run down the sideline. I mean, give Drew Scott a helmet sticker for that one.
Absolutely.
And then Paxton Anderson, who's going to go down as kind of a legendary blocker here at Highland Park. I mean, he seems to have at least 1 or 2 of those plays every single week.
Yeah, he really does, and really is good on those little hitches and bubbles.
They throw it right side, too tall for the intended target, Gavin Mason, who's been targeted early and often in this one.
Yeah, Miles, I'm telling you, the Bulldogs are in a hard they're in a hard spot right now because they are not a come-from-behind team that's going to air it up and want to throw the ball. Their offense is just not built that way. So, again, you're putting them in situations that they're not comfortable with. And this is pretty well out of hand, but it could get even more out of hand. Scott's come up with a couple more stops.
I said it earlier. You can hang with them for a quarter or a half. Can you hang with them for 48 minutes? Different story, as that is incomplete as well. And a large part of that is because these players are so smart and the coaches are so smart that they're able to make these adjustments as the game goes along. I don't have to tell you that. You're one of the guys up in the booth signaling down and making those adjustments.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them do it, and that's what I was saying that about midway through the second quarter, Coach Melton was they were hurting. The quarterback run was hurting them a little bit, but, they didn't come into the –
and that's intercepted. Patrick Turner has it going the other way at the 30-yard line, and right now momentum is wearing blue and gold.
You know what's funny is Coach Thrasher was telling me yesterday that this is a tough game, and they knew coming in it was going to be a tough game. And a team like this that is very methodical said, we haven't gotten a lot of turnovers this year, and they really haven't. But man, that's a couple of them right here that are huge picks right there, and Patrick coming up with a big play there on a deflection.
Well, you and I have seen it basically all of our lives watching Highland Park football. But this is a program that makes you pay for mistakes.
Really do.
When you make unforced errors, the Scots will make you pay. See if they can go to the end zone here. And that's incomplete. Looking there for Ben Smith. Couldn't haul that one in as it got to the body. But I came into this one saying Magnolia's not going to give you plays. Well, right there, number 5, Mitch Hall, that hit him right in the hands before it caromed to Patrick Turner.
Yeah, and that little good check down there to Ben Smith and just couldn't quite grab that one on a little slant right. So give Coach Allen a little credit right there, man. He was going to try to go for a big one and just wasn't open, and Chandler made a good read and checked it down to Ben Smith.
Morris, and there's Case Savage. Boy, what a weapon Savage is. And this is what we were talking about. I mean, if it's not Smith, it's Savage. If it's not those guys, it's Scott. And by the way, then you cover up all those guys. You got to contend with number 4 running the football.
Yeah, and number 38 running the football.
Yeah.
So the Scots are really got to have really got a lot going on.
Personal foul, face mask, number 49 on the defense. That's half the distance to the goal, first down.
Things are not going Magnolia's way right now, as it is an avalanche of momentum for the Scots at this moment. This is the danger zone right now for Magnolia.
We may have already passed the danger zone right now, Miles. I think 3 touchdowns down, they're in big trouble with their offense the way it is, and the Scots attack another one on here. It's warm up the bus kind of stuff.
Morris throwing right side. There's Case Savage. Savage does it again. What a play by number 5. His 3rd touchdown of the night.
He caught that and had to juke and jive a little bit to get in the end zone. And, man, what a play. It's just very elusive, and he was wide open first. Great play call, Coach Allen. And, man, he had to dance a little bit to find the end zone. And that was a super play by Case Savage to get to pay dirt.
And if you got a quick look at Randy Allen there as they went to the sideline, stoic as ever, as the Scots now have 48 points, and there's still 19 minutes to play in the game. That was a 29-second drive by the Scots. Now, how about this? Let me read you the scoring drives for Highland Park. 37 seconds, 40 seconds, 30 seconds, 13 seconds. Then they went with a 40-second drive, followed by a 21-second drive. So 6 scoring drives for the Scots. None of them took more than 1 minute off the clock.
Yeah, well, it makes it pretty obvious that the game plan for the Bulldogs was to keep the Scott offense off the field, just for all those reasons you just mentioned. But that has not worked out, and the Scott defense has really made some adjustments. What a run by Case Savage after he caught the ball. I mean, use a little stiff arm, little stutter step, using all the tricks and able to ramble into the end zone. Man, what a play. I mean, I saw him open. I thought, well, he's going to be at the 5-yard line, and Scotts will set up again. And, man, he was able to wind his way into the end zone. What a great athletic play by number 5, Case Savage.
And quickly the score has ballooned to a 28-point lead for Highland Park. I mean, literally 3 minutes ago game time, it was a 7-point lead.
Yeah, it really was. And, again, it looked like a ball game. And, boy, the Scots have answered. They're just so explosive, Miles. They got, the weapons are incredible. And you got a quarterback calling the shots that can really spread the ball around. And he's a weapon himself with his feet. He's got a little running back that is you got to contend with too. So that's a lot of offensive power right there. And the defense, of course, give them credit. They've made 2 big turnovers that have turned into touchdowns, one on a pick 6. And, man, they're playing great.
So let's talk about the timeline here in the second half. As on the first drive of the game, Magnolia goes down to make it 28-21. Then a Chandler Morris run from 58 yards out on the first play makes it 35-21. Pick up where I left off here in just a moment is once again no running room for the star tailback in Mitch Hall. Okay, well then Highland Park goes down immediately, scores again with Drew Scott from 39 yards out. And then it's Case Savage from 11 yards out. How about 5 touchdowns for Chandler tonight? Passing.
Uh-oh.
And Jack Curtis flexing his muscles on the tackle for loss.
Again, it just Magnolia comes in the game with the reputation. Again, who knows who they play, but the reputation of having these D1 offensive linemen, and they're going to bully the Scott front. And, man, we haven't seen any of that. We haven't seen any of it at all. And the Scott defensive front has played fantastic.
Big play here, 3rd and 14. Little flip, right side. That's Renfro, and he's going nowhere. Patrick Turner, the first man to him. Scott defense is now swarming.
We just saw a proud grandfather right there and grandmother as we see Jerry, who's got to be tickled to death to see the Scots playing in here in his beautiful stadium here. So it's really nice. And, this is the only game here tonight. It's not like there's a whole showcase or anything. So really appreciate what they do for us.
Case Savage has a chance to return this one once again. The ever slippery Case Savage is loose again. Those hidden yards that Case Savage seems to bring to the table. This guy's a star right here, Case Savage.
And it starts by catching the punt, number 1. You save first downs by catching the punt right there. And a good job. They'd all kind of bunched in there together.
Stiff arm.
And he's been tough to get to the ground tonight. He really has, and really all year. And, man, just a quick look there at Chandler and Coach Allen. I mean, Chandler is such a student of the game and, of course, a coach's son, and he really, they really get along great. They just see a lot of eye to eye and really got a lot of good coordination between the two of them.
Hunter Heath, left side. Speaking of big plays, there goes 38. Hunter Heath will score. 37 yards out. The Scots do it again.
Boy, they really did. And
pouring it on.
They are pouring it on big time, and that was a play. To be honest with you, Miles, that looked like a team that was beaten pretty bad. There was not a lot of energy on that defense that time. So Hunter Heath ready to take it to the house and do what he does best. So, that we're still got 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go here in the third quarter, and it's been all Highland Park in this the first 7 minutes of this quarter. It's just
unbelievable.
Amazing.
7 minutes. And 4 touchdowns for the Scots. Another extra point is good. It's now 56-21 as Hunter Heath is having himself a day. Okay, one more time, humor me as I read you the time of the scoring drives for the Scots. First of all, let's take a look at Hunter here. Great blocks on the outside, and then Hunter Heath does the rest.
That I'll tell you, that's bad tackling, bad effort. I'm sorry. I mean, there's just not a lot of effort right there. They're disappointed. They came into the second round of the playoffs and had high expectations, and there's just not a lot of energy there. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, they're done.
Okay, here we go. Here's the scoring drives tonight, and thanks to my dad, who comes out to all these games and helps us plot our scoring drives. 37 seconds, 21 seconds, 40 seconds, 37 seconds, 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and 13 seconds. The longest scoring drive of the night by the Scots is 40 seconds long. 40 seconds is the longest scoring drive of the night, and that's on 7 touchdowns, 7 offensive touchdowns.
And Miles, I think, to be honest with you, I think Coach Al was trying to run the ball that series and try to run some clock, and it was Hunter Heath just turning it into another touchdown. So this has been just all Highland Park here in the last 7 minutes, and it's just been incredible. Again, it started off so promising for the Bulldogs, who scored a touchdown coming out, and it looked like it was going to be a ball game again, 28-21, and all of a sudden the Scots just exploded with 4 touchdowns and have been unanswered at this point. And again, the Bulldogs are not a team that can come roaring back from a large deficit, so this will be interesting here in the last quarter and a half to see what happens.
Well, the last 6 minutes have been remarkable. As they throw it left side, it's caught out there by their star receiver, Ben Renfro. Back to our timeline here. With 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter, the score was 28-21. It's now 56-21, 6 minutes later.
Yeah, that's explosion, isn't it? And good turnovers, great defense. I mean, every facet of the game, return game, setting up great field position. I mean, it's been a combination of quality play, and that's all you could ask for if you're a Scotty fan. And the coach has done a super job of making adjustments and being ready for this game.
Well, if you saw them score, make it 28-21, then you went in the kitchen to make a sandwich, you come back, it's 56-21.
Yeah, you're a little surprised there.
There's another interception for Highland Park. Marshall Landwehr going the other way. It's all Scots here in the third quarter.
Yeah, it really is, and that was just thrown right to Marshall. I said earlier, I think the linebackers are doing such a great job on their drops. Credit Coach Bean there with those inside backers. Just got right there in the passing lane, and it looks like there is a penalty on the sidelines after the return, so we'll see which side.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 14. That's half the distance to the goal, first down.
Seeing some helmet throwing over here on the sideline, and a little bit of a loss of composure right now for this Magnolia squad. And the ball was thrown right there to Marshall Landwehr.
Yeah.
Great job by 91, and then diving, kind of spearing at Marshall Landwehr.
Yeah,
this is a dangerous play.
That is way out of bounds.
That's dirty.
Yeah, that's way out of bounds.
That's a dirty play.
Disappointment, obviously, for them, and it's just tough. And here comes that guy again.
They actually are able to tackle Case Savage for once. Case has been tremendous on this night.
You know, you got to keep playing, Miles. And that last run by Hunter Heath, I think I'm sure the coaches were very upset with that effort, and that was a nice play then by Harper as he was able to come up and make a stop, make a good tackle. So, you know, this is where you got to show a little pride and really try to get a stop and play every down as hard as you can.
Morris has time, end zone, and Vince Smith can't haul it in. Nice job right there by number 12. That was Nathan Hakes, able to separate Ben Smith from the football.
You know, you're up 35 points and you've thrown the first 2 downs. I don't know if that's good or bad if you're thinking, oh, you're trying to run up the score, but if you hand it to Hunter Heath, he might score anyway. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for for the Bulldogs. So he's back in the game, and now Chandler's got a third down, and see what he dials up here.
3rd and 6. Scots can get a first down at the 5-yard line. They want Hunter Heath on the wheel. He's wide open. Touchdown, Highland Park, as they have rattled off 35 consecutive points in the last 7 minutes.
He was wide open again, and Chandler did a good job of looking him off. But, boy, he knew where he was going to go the whole time, and he was open so early. Chandler kind of lobbed it out there for him. Again, just perfect pass and great route, a great call. Man, they do their homework, and they had a great call ready to go.
6 touchdown passes on the night for Chandler Morris. Bit of a sluggish scoring drive that time for the Scots, as it took them 49 seconds to score.
Wow, that's pedestrian, isn't it? That's ridiculous. It's been impressive, hasn't it? I mean, it has been extremely impressive. They get this going, and we've seen it all year. Their offense is so explosive, and man, it's just dialing it up. Who is going to be the next guy that you're going to get the ball to? And man, that's frustration right there on the part of
linebacker
Renfro.
Cannot hang with Hunter Heath.
No, just can't. I mean, you're trying. That's your guy, and you just get a little blown assignment there. So,
but even if he had his man, I mean, Hunter's running past him there 10 times out of 10.
I think you're seeing, Miles, the difference between being a state contender and a third-place playoff team. You know, you really are the class level.
You're not wrong.
If I was in a horse race, you'd say that this is a claiming race, claimers trying to run against a stakes horse. And man, you may run the first quarter mile and be okay, but when you get around that final turn, it's you're toast. And that's exactly what's happened with the Scots. They have really turned it on.
It's now a 42-point lead.
Yeah.
And it happened in a blink of an eye.
It really did. We're still in the third quarter here, too.
Wow. I mean, and the Magnolia sideline is stunned. They are completely stunned. And play after play after play has gone against them here after the touchdown run by Cedric Harris right here on the near side to make it 28-21. And then you look at all the points the Scots have scored. It's just remarkable to see what Highland Park's done here.
It really has. It's just been just a plethora of great plays on the offense and defensive side. There's a nice little play to Hall. And, again, just got to keep playing, man. You got to keep playing. Scots will have some – well, it looks like they still got they got a few new faces in there. There's Vincent and –
well, Gus Vincent is in there, taking the place of John Beetrell.
Yeah, he's in there for Beetrell. So,
but Vincent's a veteran.
He played a lot of snaps, and I mean, really, it's basically the starting group in there. We're only in the third quarter, so I mean, you're going to play them through.
Gus Vincent, number 15, seen at the bottom of your screen there, as that ball was in a dangerous place. Good job there by Tanner Schrank, and frankly, Gavin Mason did a nice job to have that not go the other way. I mean, that was a potential pick six again.
Yeah, Moore's been high most of the night, even early when they were making some completions. He was throwing high. So again, great job by Tanner Schrank.
63-21. Highland Park has opened up a 42-point edge. Soft throw, left side, caught out of bounds. And Will Washington is downstairs, taking the pulse of that Highland Park sideline.
Guys, the sideline's having a blast right now. One of the reasons why is, if my math is correct, that's Landwehr's second interception on the year, and that's the fourth Highland Park linebacker with interceptions on the year, if I'm correct, which is just showing that this defense gets these linebackers involved in the passing game, and it's really making a difference tonight, guys. Absolutely. That is Landwehr's second pick. And then, of course, Patrick Turner had one earlier. This is an opportunistic group. And, sometimes turnovers, they come in bunches, Dave, and sometimes you can do everything right, but you don't get them. And then all of a sudden the levee breaks and they all come at once.
Yeah, and that you go back to last week, and Maxwell Warren made that pick and really kind of sealed the game, turned the game around against Wakeland. So the Scots have been a little. It's been a little tough to get turnovers in the first of the season and the regular season, but that's right. You may get to the playoff time, and all of a sudden it's time for turnovers, a turnover fest, and you'll be able to get a lot of them. If they do, you've seen what happens with this offense. If you start getting extra possessions,
Scary.
Holy cow, you're going to be ringing up the scoreboard.
They don't need help to score a ton of points. Nice pitch and catch right there to Gavin Mason. I saw my friend Greg Powers, who works for Dave Campbell's Texas Football as a recruiting analyst, down on the field before the game, and Dave Campbell Texas Football had the betting line. I don't really like that they do betting lines for high school football games, but he said it was 23 points. And he said, now, do you think that's a little bit too much? I said, no, I do not. And I think if you took the over, you're in good shape here.
Yeah.
Ball came out. Umpire
Yeah.
says it's down.
Yeah. Again, I mean, this is something that Magnolia needs to do right now for their own program. They need to keep playing and drive this ball down there if they can.
Well, Coach, it's Craig Martin's first year here.
Yeah,
and you don't want to end the season on this kind of a down note.
No,
and
you
so
don't. And
this next 13 minutes is important for them.
You really want to keep playing too, and that's the key. Don't give up. Just eat every play, no matter what.
Scots bring the pressure. They lob it deep, nearly a one-handed catch there by Ben Renfro, but it's incomplete. Coverage there by Ford Frazier.
Yeah, Ford did a good job. He stayed on, kind of stacked that receiver the whole way. He turned and looked for the ball. The way that thing hung in the air, he might have had another pick. Just kind of lobbed it up in the air again. Ford not finding the ball quick enough. Nice play, though, to defend what could have been a nice little gain for the Bulldogs.
Impressive to see what the Scots are doing here to a second-round playoff opponent. Throw right side, and that's dropped. I mean, not often, Coach Clark, do you get the kind of numbers that Highland Park's put up here in this third quarter. 35 points. In fact, you look at the previous two quarters, and they have totaled 56 points since the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, it's been just everything working. And you mentioned those scoring drives are kind of Chip Kelly, Oregon Duck kind of stuff, where they
a rainbow is going to be hauled in right at the goal line. Nice job by the talented tight end Ben Coligan. Good touch on the throw by Travis Moore as that one went way up in the air, nearly scraped our video board there.
Yeah, that was a nice throw. Really, again, perfectly thrown. Schrank was there, but just a step behind, and nice completion. And
they go under center, going the wrong direction, then a nice second effort by Moore as he takes it across the goal line. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, Miles, this game is over as far as who's going to win the game, but that showed a little something. And
yeah.
I guarantee you that play, go back to that run by Hunter Heath, that was emotional. They were so beaten down, they just kind of, I won't say gave up, but they didn't play very hard that play. And Hunter just made them look bad, and that was a good response. That showed a little character coming back and making that touchdown play right there.
Absolutely. Highland Park's been flirting with blocking those extra points, but able to sneak it through. On the flip side, we know Cale Melton, he's nothing if not a perfectionist, and they're still intensely focused on every single down here if you're Highland Park and still trying to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt about that, and he's not going to be happy that they gave up a score there. I mean, those are still the starters out there for both teams. They're in there battling. Nice, tough run there by Travis Moore. Kind of bounced it outside, and he's a tough little competitor for a junior. He really is. He work on his little bit more arm strength and be able to be more of a passer, I think, as he grows and matures for his senior year next year. So,
well, certainly a kid that looks like he is maximizing his God-given ability.
Yes, he really is. He's doing that, and you mentioned these offensive linemen for Magnolia. They're coming back. They're youngsters, and so they've got a bright future if they can kind of regroup after this game. They kind of see where the bar is, Miles. You know, that's what I'm saying.
It's true.
They kind of see where the bar is, and I think you know, this is what it is. This is what a state champion looks like. And you know, right now the Scots are state champions until somebody takes it away from them. They've been a 3-time state champion, and now you're seeing why.
Deep kick into the end zone over the head of Case Savage. And we'll see if Highland Park wants to trot out Chandler Morris here in what is now a 35-point lead. And there you get a good look at Craig Martin. I enjoyed my conversation with him. A young guy, has that youthful energy, and wanted to bring his community here to Dallas, Texas, and the famed AT&T Stadium. Now, if it was me coaching, I probably would not want to play Highland Park indoors. It's a gloomy day outside right now, and you can't imagine that Highland Park would have reeled off 35 points in the third quarter if this thing was on a grass field somewhere outdoors.
Yeah, with a little misty rain and a little wind blowing. No, I agree with you, Miles. You know, a Thursday night, now we can start talking about it's a Thursday night game, which allows the Scots coaching staff to have really an extra day to prepare for whoever they end up playing in the third round. And that's always nice to get a lot of work done and get some films traded and be able to start working on your opponent on Friday. So that really gives a little extra time. And, man, they just keep going here. Ben Smith with a nice little pitch and catch there from Chandler. And I think, you know, playing on a Thursday night, now that you get the win, you know, it really turns into a real advantage. Or if you want to and go watch your next opponent's game, which I'm sure many of the coaches will be heading down Waco way to watch that. And I think that'll be an interesting visit for them to watch their opponent, and again, a chance to maybe avenge their only loss.
Has Paxton Anderson. What a night by Chandler Morris. I mean, lost in all the ability from his skill players, and boy, have they been on display. But Chandler Morris has had a really, really efficient performance in this game. You look at Chandler, 15 out of 22, 5 touchdowns. Ho-hum, another night at the office for number 4.
Yeah, no picks, no interceptions, and that's something that's going to be key in this as we get deeper and deeper into the playoffs is you don't turn the ball over. The Scots haven't turned it over. I'll probably jinx them now, but they haven't turned it over, and they've been getting some turnovers, which is nice. You win that turnover margin, and you really have a good chance of winning every football game you're in. So, man, what a dominant performance there for about 8 minutes in that quarter. Was just a furious array of great defense, getting turnovers, and great offense.
And it was a third quarter for the books for the Scots. We're going to just go ahead and keep it right here as we head toward the fourth quarter. Good to see a little bit more life and energy over here on this near sideline during that blitzkrieg of points by Highland Park in the third. I mean, there was just devastation over here on this near sideline.
It really was. It's got to be like a gut punch. I mean, you've really got to just take your wind out of you, and there's nothing you can do. It happened so fast, Miles. It just happened so fast you didn't even have a chance to catch your breath. I mean, one after another, and you are you're just on your heels reeling from something like that. So we'll see how they play it now. They got Doak in the game, and looks like Will Anderson. Probably great to have Hunter Heath on the sidelines. He got a little banged up last week, so his work should be done for the night. And again, get some of these. Looks like we've got a few new offensive linemen in the game too. So fourth quarter comes around, and Randy's starting to sub a little bit.
Good opportunity to get some young guys some valuable in-game seasoning as the Scots want to go deep here, and it is incomplete. It was Paxton Anderson, had a chance at it. What a ball by Chandler Morris.
That was a great throw, and again, Pax had a chance at it. And
Paxton's nicked up here.
Kind of right over the shoulder and just couldn't quite corral it. So
Paxton's having trouble getting off the field.
Yeah, he's limping off. Someone's going to come meet him down there. Looks like Coach Fox is going to be over there for him. And
Crockett Corwin's checked in his spot.
What a throw. I mean, that was a perfect throw. Only Paxton had a chance to catch that.
6 total touchdowns on the night for Mr. Morris. Has plenty of time here. Throws another bullet. Right side, and it's incomplete. Looking for Drew Scott.
Yeah, that's thrown into coverage a little bit. They had a good job on Drew that time, and really no space for him to make a play. So that's probably a good break that it was deflected away. Nice coverage there by Shields, the corner. Battle of the sevens right there. So Scots look like they're going to have to punt it away here.
So get some work here for Hayden Kleiss.
Second. I think they punted earlier, right? One more. And showing a lot of different looks from this punt formation, giving your opponent a lot to. Boy, there's somebody
Nearly
came
blocked.
right up the middle.
So something to work on right there for the Scots.
That's what not supposed to happen. Somebody came right up the gut there, and if they'd realized how close they were, they might have been able to reach out and get a piece of that one. But that's a good job by the Bulldog defense. You know, the offense went down and scored, and then the defense comes out and gets a stop. You got to admire these guys. They got a little pride left, and they're trying to battle through this and really get back to playing. You got to keep playing, no matter what the score is.
And there he goes, number 4. Been impressed with Travis Moore tonight. Been a gamer.
He really has been a tough little dude out there, and you know he doesn't have a whole lot on the ball, but he seems to place it real well, and has really made a nice throw on that last one to his big tight end, and really has been making some plays. And again, I'm not sure the Scott coaching staff was aware of the kind of player that he really was. Boy,
Ball is out. And the Scots have it. Cole Philly.
Cole Philly with a nice recovery. Somebody knocked it loose, and again, Cole Philly right there to scoop it up, and the Scots get another turnover. And that's the way this evening has been unfolding. Again, a nice play.
We have a personal foul. Hands to the face. Number 53 on the offense.
Another personal foul here against Magnolia. Once again, I think the stat of the night is the scoring drive length. I mean, the quick strike ability.
Penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the spot of the recovery. First down.
Of this Highland Park offense, it's unlike anything I've ever seen in a football game. I mean, have you ever seen a game where a team has 8 scoring drives, the longest of which is 49 seconds?
You know, the only thing I made a reference to it earlier, but, you know, Marcus Mariota, when he was running Chip Kelly's offense at Oregon, they were doing this. But they were into the minutes. They weren't into the, you know, they'd go like a minute 30 and have a drive. But these have been just you know, warp speed drives that they've really just gotten the ball, made a couple of big plays, and they're in the end zone. So, yeah, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen. And right now, you know, it's the Scots want to run the clock. They want to burn some time off the clock and see how they can maneuver this around here.
Second teamers into the ball game, and Braden Shager's checked in here. And Braden, to me, is a quintessential Highland Park Scot. And this is a guy, Tristan Weber told me, most people, they come into this program, they say, what can Highland Park do for me? Braden Shager said, what can I do for Highland Park? This is a guy that could have transferred, could have been playing somewhere else, but he stuck it out here because he wants to be a Scot.
Yeah, and you got to love that about him. I mean, that's really kind of cool. And, you know, he's really done a great job of doing everything you've asked him to do, and he's a quality quarterback. I mean, this is going to be interesting to see, you know, as the battle, I'm sure, will unfold on who's going to be the quarterback next year, and he certainly, as Chandler's backup, will be the one of the prime candidates, of course, and he will have a real chance to show what he can do. And I just think it's great. I think Highland Park's got a lot of quarterbacks around the Metroplex of guys that have left, and you know, they were more like, what can Highland Park do for me? And this is a Scott. This is a guy that understands the program is more important than you are, and I really admire that about him. And
absolutely.
And I really wish him well. I hope he's.
You bet.
Hey, my gosh. The whoever ends up being quarterback at Highland Park, this team is going to be really tough next year. I mean, you look at the young defensive linemen and linebackers and
offensive
line, and they always have receivers. I mean, Rutledge and some of these Petty John will be coming back. I mean, some of these guys, Corwin. I mean, some of these guys are coming back. They're going to be fine.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 51 on the defense. That is his first unsportsmanlike conduct. A second unsportsmanlike conduct will result in him disqualifying himself for the rest of the contest.
Speaking of Corwin, our white hat tonight looks awful lot like Mike.
Yeah.
Big Daddy MC Mike Corwin. But absolutely. I mean, you got to be impressed with some of the other guys that have said, okay, I can't immediately be the starting quarterback. I'm gone. And
right.
Braden Shager hanging in, and it makes you want to root for the young man and want nothing but success for him.
Yeah, you really do. And again, boy, Coach Allen's going to play the play clock down. He's doing everything he can and going to snap it well inside of 5 seconds, I'm sure. And here we go. Run a little smoke play, and Will Anderson's going to be tackled for a loss. But, I agree, Miles. I mean, a lot of these guys, it's just being part of the program. You just feel so good about it. And there's so much, you work hard and your time comes. And some of these seniors, you think they finally been waiting. Their time came, and they were ready. When the opportunity came, they were ready. And, next Scott up is not just something that's written on a wall. It's something that these kids really believe, and they're the next guy. And they're going to be ready to play when their turn comes.
Shager, chance to throw right here. There is Crockett Corwin making a man miss, and Crockett diving there toward the 11-yard line. First time we get to see Shager sling it.
Yeah, that was a nice play. That little crossing route's been open the whole game, and playing that coverage where you're really kind of an umbrella bend but don't break kind of stuff, and they've been broken quite a few times, and Crockett was able to run underneath the coverage and make a nice little game.
Well, you know what's remarkable about these quick scoring drives I was mentioning is in talking to the Scott coaches, they felt like Magnolia wants us to have long scoring drives in this game. Shager hanging in there, has a man, and it's incomplete.
Yeah.
At the 10-yard line, a very late flag comes in.
Man, who knows what that's going to be, holding or another personal foul. But, I agree. I think that was their game plan coming in. I think the Scots just got matchups that were just so beneficial that they just had to take advantage of.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 95 on the defense. That'll be half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Yeah,
about 7 or 8 personal fouls against Magnolia.
Kind of losing your cool here a little bit, and you gotta play fair, play through this a little bit. But yeah, I think it's going to be neat. I think watching this team for the next. Hopefully, we're going to watch them for 4 more games, and they're kind of clicking right now, Miles. They are. And the better the opposition, the better they play. We saw that with Lancaster, and we saw that with Timberview. The better team they play, the more likely you're going to see the best out of the Scots.
Good tough running right there by Doak Walker. Absolutely. I mean, really, with the exception of that Lone Star game where they didn't have a lot of their horses.
Yeah, you think about that we were a shadow of our former selves,
Tanner Schrank and Hunter Heath and Drew Scott and, a lot of their really good players.
And you just look at what those guys did tonight. Forget about the rest of the season. What those three guys did tonight, what a contribution they are. And that's going to be a completely different story when they really have to game plan a little bit differently, and I'm talking about if they do end up playing Lone Star again.
Which, by the way, is not a given.
That I was just going to say that was not a given, and the coaching staff was talking about because they saw film on Lone Star's opponent playing Magnolia, and that's College Station, and they said they are really, really good, and they're going to give Lone Star all they want when that matchup is tomorrow night, and that's good. That's very good.
Hope they beat each other up pretty good.
Yeah, I hope so too. But that'll be an interesting matchup, whoever it ends up being in round 3.
3rd and goal, and Shager just throws that one out of the back of the end zone. Braden 7-on-7 team grind. You helped them name it, right?
No, I didn't.
No? Okay, I thought that might have been
I didn't have
right
any
up your
responsibility
alley.
for that. Don't
okay.
throw that at me.
All right, well, Team Grind.
Team Grind.
They won.
I don't get it. Okay, that's all right.
They were the state champions this year of the 7-on-7 tournament with Braden pulling the trigger. And if you know anything about 7-on-7, quarterback's pretty important there, Dave.
Pretty important. Yeah, I mean, he's talented. There's no doubt, but he's been patient enough to wait his turn behind a very talented quarterback this year that may be one of the best in the state.
4th and goal. The Scots want to throw it, and it's incomplete.
Ooh, that.
Yeah, I thought that might have been interference, but we'll let it.
You're not going to get that call when you're up 63-28.
Looking for John Rutledge, the talented sophomore. And speaking of guys with bright futures.
Yeah, we just mentioned
that. That young man has a feel for the position.
Yeah, we mentioned him. The receiving core. You're going to lose Anderson. You're going to lose
Big 4.
Yeah, you're going to lose all 4 of those guys, but they're going to fill in. There are going to be others that are going to be ready to go. And the Scots, talking to the coaches, you had another terrific JV blue team and JV gold team.
Yep.
You had Coach Roan did a super job with the freshman team. I mean, it just continues to just roll and roll and roll on. So Scots football is in great shape right now.
And a really nice tackle as Travis Moore had a chance to get loose. And number 50.
Nick Bowman.
Hey, how about him?
I like that. Way to go. He's a good kid. He's that's great. Give him out there and playing nose guard and making a nice play.
And that was Gus Vincent.
Oh, Gus Vincent. Yeah, it was.
Pile.
And Bowman was there on top. But
I mentioned that Gus Vincent is a veteran, but that's a dude that played a lot last year. Special teamer this year, a baseball player. Been through the battles. Long throw caught over there by Renfro in a crowd of Scots.
Yeah, that's good scrambling to the ball. Kind of a little soft cushion there, but that's okay. Make them work. Use the clock. But a nice catch and catch there for the Bulldogs. Get out from their own shadow of their goal line.
What a remarkable performance tonight by the Highland Park offense. The defense hadn't been bad either.
No, they've been causing turnovers, which is great because that's been something that's been missing from the games this year, is that just not really getting those turnovers like they have in the past. So that's been a nice thing to see tonight. And a pick 6. You always love to see your defense score one.
Interesting young man that's just checked in down there, number 96, George Wright, is a sophomore call-up. Young linebacker. Boone Snyder's checked in. Spencer Harper's out there. Harris Gould. Big thanks to Spencer Harper's father, Dr. Harper. Did open heart surgery on my dad over here to the left, so thanks for the steady hands there.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Maxon Smith, number 13.
That's so good. I mean, this is great. You have an opportunity to play at AT&T Stadium, and it's really, really neat. A Texas high school playoff game.
More good coverage there by the Scots, but the receiver fell down. Christian Wright's out there. Dylan Ham. I'm a little romantic seeing a middle linebacker wearing 47 for Highland Park.
Oh.
Had some good ones at that position there.
Yep.
Let's check in with Will Washington on the sideline.
Guys, you talked about sophomore George Wright getting called up. So great to see some of these younger guys getting in. If it's revealing anything, it's showing that this team has some depth. They've got some young guys contributing. You see Crockett Corwin out there. You see Will Pettijohn out there at receiver. They got some young guys on this team, and it's really great to see them get in. But one of the best parts is seeing the way these seniors are cheering for them win they're in. This is a full team effort. They love seeing these younger guys get in the game, guys.
Yeah, great stuff there from Will, who's an important part of our community as a youth pastor. He's got a lot of these guys in Bible studies and responsible for some of their off-the-field stuff. So always good to see that from Will Washington. And Coach, I don't have to tell you this, that when backups get in the game and make plays, that might be the best possible scenario for overall team morale, is when somebody else that doesn't normally get to play gets in there and does something good.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. It really is great for everybody. You work hard at every day in practice, and a lot of guys don't get a chance to play as much as others. So you really look forward to an opportunity to get a chance to perform. And, man, with this kind of stage like this, that's fantastic. And you really got to, salute those guys who are working so hard to make all of this success possible.
Catch there by Sam Sessions, number 80. Look out for him next year.
Got Sam in class. He's a speedster. We saw him catch one and run all the way for a score. So, I mean, these guys can play a little bit. And, again, these may be the heroes we'll be talking about next year, Miles.
Well, and you said it. These guys work just as hard as some of the other guys that are the stars. And look at Doak Walker. Speaking of guys that work hard, how about Doak? Look at him go across midfield all the way down to the 35. And good block out there by Dre Schmidt. Also saw number 71, Cade McCarter, doing work. Look at Dre Schmidt out here, 58. Big Red, they call him.
That should have been a 5-yard loss, and Doak using those big thighs, and he just keeps rambling away and keeps moving downfield. I'm telling you, Coach Allen was probably the one going, tackle him. Let's try to run this clock out. I don't want to score again. So he's going to let them have a chance, though. I mean, you got all backups in there, and you got your twos in there, so give them a chance. And if they run the ball, that offensive line keeps pushing, so be it. That's the way life is.
Handoff here. I think that's Brooks Bond. I'll check that. It is Bond.
Yeah.
But you know what? Just because some of these guys that are seniors that don't get out there doesn't mean they haven't worked just as hard as the guys at the top of the class. I mean, we can't all be David Clarkson, be genetically predisposed to be superstars and be captains at Highland Park football, but it doesn't mean that you don't work your tail off.
And I think part of that too,
I'm
Miles,
just teasing you, of course.
Oh, of course. But part of that is, you're not going to tell them, you're not going to find that they're not going to play hard either. They're going to bust their tails to do everything they can. And believe me, those guys in those blue jerseys right now are trying to score. And they're trying to execute the play as the best of their ability. And they're going to try to score for sure. And Coach Allen,
he doesn't want them to, but
with his play call, that's what I mean. He's sitting there going, don't get down. But he wants this thing to get over with, and we get off the field without anybody else banged up. We hope John Beetrell's doing all right down there. Maybe Will could find out a little bit for us, but that was the only thing that's maybe a negative that's come out of this game right now, Miles.
And John's a guy they need. I mentioned that Gus Vincent is a veteran and he can step in there, but John Beetrell's the senior captain for a reason. As they hand it to Doak Walker, look at him go. And he slides down.
Yeah, he really did. I think now they're just going to take a knee, I think. Got the first down.
But like you said, these guys are going to play hard.
Yeah, they are. And that's a nice hole, and Doak hits it hard, and he doesn't run out of bounds. Man, he's coached not to run that out of bounds. Coach Gibbs will be over there tackling him himself right there to keep him in. But that guy runs out of bounds. I guarantee, I don't care what the score is, that's going to be pointed out in the film room. That you don't do that. We're running the clock out. So they're in their victory, that lovely, lovely victory formation, and the playoff game round 2 is going to be in the books here in about 30 seconds.
So the Scots are area round champions again, and for the 4th consecutive season, they will see at least the 3rd round.
Miles, I was thinking about this. This is the 60th game that the Scots have played in 4 years. The 60th game. Just that alone tells you something. The 60th game. So, this is exhausting for the players. Of course, they change over. I'm more feeling like for the coaches, that's 60 games in 4 years. That's a lot of work. So my hat goes off to him. It was more than I could handle.
You couldn't hang with
it was
it
more
anymore.
than I could handle. I'm an old man. There's no way that this is a young man's game, and that's what I love about Randy. He stays young and really has done a great job of kind of retooling himself emotionally and mentally and physically so that he's ready for this big push here at playoff time.
Well, a dominant performance tonight by the Highland Park Scots. Their offense was just lethal. The long scoring plays and short scoring drives were unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, and this was not Sunset.
No.
This team put a whooping on Mesquite Poteet.
Yeah, they did. That's right. And you're right, Miles. It was just something you just don't see very often. You may see 1 or 2 quick strikes in a game, but you don't see, 6 or 7 of them less than 1 minute.
Okay, one more time.
All right, one more time. Let's see it.
One more time. Here's the scoring drives tonight for Highland Park. 49 seconds, 37 seconds, 21 seconds, 40 seconds, 37 seconds, 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and 13 seconds. 8 scoring drives, the longest of which was 49 seconds long.
That's pretty incredible. There won't be a lot of film to watch for the offensive guys. They'll be through, I bet they didn't run 50 or 60 plays, but because they were scoring all the time. But hey, I'm maybe because I'm a defensive guy. Let me tell you, those turnovers were huge.
Oh, I agree.
And they made those quick strikes even more meaningful as they got the ball right back, and the offense absolutely did something with it. And that's great for the whole team to see something like that. Boy, it's just super.
Dave, take us through some final stats in this one.
Man, what a job by the Scots. Just up and down, it just goes on. You mentioned the drives. That it's probably enough yardage for more than 22 first downs, but not many.
All right, Will Washington's downstairs with Randy Allen.
What did you tell the team to sort of get them focused when you looked up and the score was still tied 14-14?
Well, I mean, you expect a close game in the playoffs from they were 8-3 and they played some good football teams. They had some Division I offensive linemen, and they made some big plays on us. So there's nothing, 14-14, and then we went in at halftime with a 28-14 lead, which was more comfortable. They came out and scored, and we answered, and then things kind of fell apart for them. And for us, we scored on some really big plays. And so I really think in the second half, we kind of came into our own. We showed that we've got some breakaway potential, and our defense started playing better. So I'm real proud of how we finished the game.
Coach Allen, your defense had 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Talk about how important it is in the playoff to win the turnover battle and how you guys did it tonight.
Well, you can look at anybody that wins in the playoffs, and normally they're going to win the takeaways and the turnover battle. So we've tried to emphasize that and field position. And we got much better field position on our kickoffs because we kicked it out of the end zone. And that's a tribute to Wesley Winters. He started kicking the ball out of the end zone, which really helped us for field position.
Coach, one of the things you had to love on offense tonight is how well these receivers played. They blocked, multiple guys played with the ball. Just talk about how important it is to have depth at the receiver position, especially this time of year.
Well, we got 4 starters and then 4 juniors behind them, and we feel comfortable with any of them in the ball game at any time. I thought we had some big plays from a lot of our receiving core. I thought Chandler had a great night. I thought Hunter ran the ball well too. So it was a complete night. I think it was pretty balanced. But anyway, we're real proud of what we accomplished tonight offensively, but it was set up. A lot of those scores were short fields set up by turnovers and interceptions by our defense. In fact, one of the scores in the first half was an interception returned by Tanner Srank. That's the first one we've had this year. It's the first time we scored on defense this year, which is a big deal.
Can you talk about seizing momentum with that interception that he had and just the way you guys were able to hang on to it? I mean, that was a huge turning point in terms of getting you guys going.
I thought our sidelines was really enthusiastic, and I think our defense, they play on emotions. And when we got that turnover, like I say, it's the first time we scored on defense, but it was such a big play in the game that I think our guys really started playing harder after that. And I think it's a little discouraging to Magnolia.
Coach Allen, is there anything you can share with us as a preview for either what we'll see next week or the schedule or the location or any other preview?
Well, we're going to play one of two teams, College Station or Lone Star. Lone Star is the #1 team in the Metroplex, and they've been playing great football. But they play tomorrow in Waco, and if it's Lone Star, we'll play at AT&T Stadium on Friday at 3:30, and if it's College Station, we'll either play at McLean or Waco ISD at 1:30 on Friday.
Congratulations, Coach Allen. Great
Thank
game.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so big thanks there to Coach Randy Allen, and he is correct. The Scots will either play Frisco Lone Star or College Station. And, of course, they played Frisco Lone Star earlier this year and last year, and they played College Station last year. So it will be a familiar opponent regardless for the Scots. And if it is indeed Frisco Lone Star, I wouldn't want to have to be the coaching staff to beat Randy Allen twice in 1 year.
Yeah, and coming to AT&T Stadium where the Scots have nothing but good feelings about AT&T Stadium. It's, boy, I'd have to rack my brain to try to figure out the last time we lost here. So
it would have been Waco Midway in 2015, second round.
So, yeah, and that's, man,
6A.
That's 6A stuff. That's a little bit different. And I want to remind him, I'm defensive coach, so I can throw this out there and hopefully he won't get mad at me. But against Samuel, Patrick Turner intercepted one and ran it back for a touchdown. So I just wanted to remind him of that did happen, that the Scots have scored, but on defense. He did say about balance. I thought that was great. I'm looking, the Scots had 513 yards, 215 rushing, and Chandler threw for 281 yards himself. So Shager threw for 17 more. So real great night. He mentioned Chandler having a good night, 16 of 25 for that 281, and just a dominant performance. 5 TDs, no interceptions. A really outstanding night for Tanner. For Chandler. And boy, I agree. Tanner Schrank's play may have been the turning point of the game with that pick 6.
It was a dominant night for the Scots, especially that blitz of a third quarter where Highland Park rattled off 35 consecutive points to put the Magnolia Bulldogs away for good. Have a lot of people to thank here. Will Washington down on the sideline. Of course, David Clark here, our fearless producer. The man that's in charge of all this is Fred Garner. And, of course, we always have to thank the HB Dads Club for making all of this happen. For all those folks and more, I'm Miles Dunklin saying so long here from AT&T Stadium.
It's intercepted! They are going to complete the three-peat. That trophy is not leaving. It is staying at Highlander Stadium for the 3rd consecutive year.